Okay. So, I think we are live. Players just kind of getting set up a little bit here. We should drop a message in Discord. Okay, so here we are, game one of the finals of the World Tournament of War of the Ring. And we are here discussing. Have we decided yet who's going to play which side? I haven't seen.
I don't think we've seen that yet, so I'm excited to see their choice.
Well, I'll go ahead and just introduce ourselves. I don't know if there's anyone in the live chat right now, but for posterity, I'm Sears233. I'm one of the admins on the War of the Ring Discord server, and I have here Biz, who is a fantastic, phenomenal player, here to correct me when I give lousy strategic commentary.
I think you're a pretty great player yourself, and this is going to be a fun time. Yeah, I'm excited to be here with you, and we'll see how this all goes out.
So already they're discussing they're going to roll for random sides. Saved by Him does have the choice to choose whatever side he wants, but it sounds like they're going random, and they're discussing a dwarven ring as a balancing mechanism.
Yeah,
This is
I've seen
already
that
out of
before.
left field.
I think that would be very good for Wei, who loves crowning Aragorn. I've talked with him before, and he loves using the Dwarven Ring just as a means to get Aragorn as soon as possible.
Now, it is up to Saved by Him whether or not they play with this. The default is no. Okay, yeah, so no dwarven rings. I rather suspected that might be the case. So it'll just be a regular, unbalanced. Okay.
Balanced, unbalanced. You never know. It all comes down to luck, in a sense, anyway.
Yeah, it's basically a coin flip. Uh, so we're off. Now, we should say, Wei has been kind enough to offer his monitor for the screen share, so we're kind of surfing over Wei's shoulder. That means we are going to be able to see the Free People's cards today, but we're not going to be able to see the Shadows cards. Uh, so we'll do the best we can with that.
Great cards too. Heroic Death is a nice combat card to have,
And
and
Kellerman's Galadrim on the
Horns is
top.
great.
Yeah, huge. So, pretty decent start for free people. Event dice, not the most useful dice that you ever want to see, but with Gandalf, the guide, nice playable card in hand. It'll pull you two more once you play it. It's really hard to imagine what more you could want.
Yeah, I think definitely playing Celeborns. We're going to see some card cycling.
Yep.
For Shadow, I mean, they don't get two musters, so no Saruman. But at least they can get Sauron to war, and if I had to guess, I think they might rush Old Forest Road here. We'll see if that plays out.
Why would you rush Old Forest Road?
Just to try and get in before they can hybrid move and block with the guy in Carrick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, not everyone plays like that. Some people like to get Isengard to war. but we'll see what Saved by Him chooses. Saved by
It's
Him is currently number 2 on the leaderboard and has been in the top 4 of this tournament 3 years in a row.
it's insane, isn't it?
That's such a crazy feat. In a game as luck based as this, that is quite the testament of skill.
Very, very much so. In fact, my favorite argument for it maybe not being as luck based of a game as some people like to imagine it is, but for his part, Wei, who played his first game on the server back in June of last year, his War of the Ring career is about 1 year old, and he is already I believe it's third on the leaderboard.
It's
Um,
fourth as of this recording, but it always
yeah, fourth. You're
fluctuates.
right, quite right. But that's wild for only a year of play. Uh, I was I was nowhere near that. When I was a year in, I'm nowhere near that now. In fact,
Yeah, it's really quite a crazy matchup. We have one of the best players that we've seen in this community, and versus one of the best new players coming
hmm
up.
so since we're oh, he's back, but I think that what you were saying about this die right here, the muster, which we have now played to get Sauron to war. So I think you're right about Old Forest Road. That is a risk, right? Because now you're not. If you only get one muster next round, you're not set up to get a minion. Um, though perhaps you can force the Witch King as your first minion if you need to.
Yeah, it is a risk. It definitely makes it more likely you're going to get that second die next round if you do Isengard. At the same time, if you roll zero next musters next turn, it could be catastrophic if you don't have Sauron to war.
Very much so.
Oh, drawing into Thranduils. Look at that. Thranduils and Bombadil.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge. Now, Bombadil bumps the north. Probably not have much time to get usage out of it, I would imagine. Shadow probably shuts down the north pretty quick here.
Yeah, they might attack the north just to bring it to war. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah. They sort of have the luxury of seeing what they roll next turn before they have to decide how they want to play that.
And already we see Free People losing Gandalf to pretty efficiently to a 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're very happy whenever you can get better than a one.
Yeah, anything you can get out of the old coot. It's kind of funny though because Free People do not have Isengard to war, so Shadow rather. So they might be delaying Gandalf depending on how things work out next round.
Yeah, it is. They certainly should, right? The only time that might not happen is if Shadow has the opportunity to get two minions next turn, which is certainly possible. And even so,
Yeah,
they
it's
might
gonna come down to those
choose to
musters.
pursue Gandalf denial.
And they're just flying by because there's a reveal into Holland and now Candles of Corpses. So
Hmm.
that's
Two
Fellowship's getting
hits.
hurt
That's
already.
pretty good. Okay. So shaping up right now so far everything's running pretty quick. Fellowship sprinting along. Shadow is kind of off like a pop out the gate. Woodland Realm already under siege. Nothing too weird happening.
There is a lot of musters for
Oh,
Shadow.
that's a fantastic roll for free people.
It really is. We might see Aragorn. I think we will. That's I think that's my guess here.
Really?
Way
Even
loves
though
Aragorn.
does he? Okay, all right. Well, so but it's obnoxious right now. Because Aragorn is, if I'm counting correctly, Aragorn is 7 spaces away from the nearest crownable location, right?
That's absolutely right. It would have to be all four dice invested in Aragorn to see it happen. And a ring. It would be quite the investment.
And what you'd be giving up is a pretty cushy hide and triple move, right?
Yeah. Or maybe you do something else with the will. But in any case, I mean,
I hope he does it. It sounds like he's alluding to it in chat. He said, "I am inevitable." I think you might have a read on Way here.
we've played a number of games, and I know that he will go for Aragorn pretty much any opportunity possible. Um, this is a tough one, though. I mean, maybe it's right just to hide and move here. No, no, here they come.
I love this. I'm so glad about this. I think that Aragorn is dramatically underplayed in this game. If you Strider Sprint and luck turns against you, there is nothing you can do. But if you crown the king, there's a lot you can do.
Yeah, this is just cinema right here
Yep.
because Wei is one of the scariest free people military players out there, and Saved by Him is one of the best shadow players out there.
So so
So this
you're
is going to be.
you're a fantastic player. Would you do this? Is this a move that Biz would do?
I'm a coward, so I wouldn't do it.
I
I would think about it, and then I would hide and move
uh-huh.
twice.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not in the final of the War of the Ring tournament.
There we are. I too am a coward, but I'm trying to become less of one. I think often about what Generic Pie says in his videos sometime, which, if you haven't seen them, anyone listening, go check him out. He's an excellent streamer of War of the Ring. He says, when he started playing for fun, instead of worrying about his ranking and doing weird shenanigans, his ranking went up. So, perhaps a lesson we all should learn.
It is crazy how much Aragorn can do because he can sometimes you can delay Shadow by 6 turns or more, like
Yeah.
just an insane amount just by
Yeah.
Aragorn running around.
And Shadow has gotten off to a relatively slow start. Um, all of the Mordor troops are kind of out of position, not yet mustered up. They'll really kind of just be on the borders of Mordor by the time this turn is over, probably. Um,
Yeah, and unbeknownst to Shadow, Free People has King Brainsman and Thranduil's archers, so Do is going to be not so easy.
yeah.
That's a good point. They're a bit slow, and maybe the king is going to come in just in time. I see they got great company. We'll see if that's played.
I think there is a temptation sometimes, you as the omniscient observer, you see in Free People's hand, oh, well, they've got King Brandsman. Why doesn't Shadow simply attack Dale to make sure that can't happen? And it's easy to forget that Shadow has a million things, now 2 million things that Strider's on the map that they need to do. And even though they start with way more dice than Free People, those dice are precious. It's very hard to allocate them properly. You don't feel like you have a lot of dice as Shadow, even though you have almost twice as
No,
many.
you never do. Yeah, I as Shadow here, it's very hard to see. Oh, I have to attack Dale. Um, I think I certainly wouldn't here. They got Aragorn to worry about,
Yeah, and you'll just enable Carrick. You'll create a mess for yourself.
and they can get into Erebor. So I think the King Brandsman will come eventually, but we'll be waiting on that. an immediate attack by Shadow right towards Gondor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they use their ring this turn, because Way is going to give them a ring, they can
Yep.
get to Osgiliath, which does not give free people much time to get ready with Aragorn.
It's interesting you say that. If they use their ring, and then it's very easy to look down at Shadow's rings, and you might say, well, Shadow doesn't have a ring. But of course, important to remember at this level of play that these players are predicting moves and counter moves, right? Saved by Him knows that he will have a ring because he knows that Way will give him a ring because he saw that Strider was split off, and that's the only move that makes sense.
Yeah, he very, very well read, because there he goes. He's already getting on his Gileath. That's a very good point about him being able to see that coming. And I mean, free people could have had Fear Fire Foes or something, so it's easier for us to say than for Saved by Him, who was able to see it in the middle of everything.
Yeah, I think you predict, right? You know that there are two cards that free people could have, which means they don't have to give you a ring. But either way, you still want to kind of get into position. If you don't throw your body on top of Minas Tirith right now, that can rapidly spiral out of control.
Yeah, I think this is good play. I've started to come around to a Shadow, just doing whatever you can to mitigate Aragorn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, Shadow has played Stormcrow for Great Host in the battle against Osgiliath. Certainly the more common usage of it, but it's funny to note that Stormcrow itself would have had usage as an event had he wanted to use it to keep Gondor further from war.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, they could have done that instead of attacking Gondor, hung onto their ring, and just made it a little awkward for
Yeah.
Aragorn. I feel like this is the move to put max pressure on the king by
Mm-hmm.
Saved by Him.
Absolutely. Wei now has to make a really awkward choice. With his first action of round three, he's going to have to choose whether or not to keep Aragorn inside Minas Tirith. And I think almost certainly you can't do that. It's you're gonna lose the king that way. But
Just drew scouts, though. If he's
okay.
attacking Minas Tirith, he can scouts away. Um,
And he's got
or
great company.
and he just drew Athelas, so he could muster an. Oh no, Gondor is not at war. That is pretty important, because if he could get another elite right now, then Gondor could get out of hand.
Well,
But
if he waits to scouts, then Gondor will be at war.
that's right. He will give up 2 points, but
But
might be
then he's
worth
got
it.
a mobile army with two companions. He's got Anduril in hand and Grey Company. This is a little baroque. I don't know if we're really gonna go this crazy, but I can hope.
I've seen it before many times from Way. No, they're going to Druid in. Oh, that's
There it
clever.
is. Now though, Gondor not at war.
That's true. If Shadow doesn't attack anything, that army, well, they have a muster, I guess.
How cool is this? It is round three of the World Tournament Finals, and we were set up for a Strider sprint, the most boring possible game of War of the Ring, and instead we have thrown caution to the winds. We've crowned the king, who is now lurking out in the forest with most of the guard of Minas Tirith. Um, this is excellent.
It's really excellent, and these Rohan guys might get involved, and I think there's a danger to free people military victory. People
Mm-hmm.
people think it takes mistakes from Shadow, but all it has to take right now, all Shadow has to do is attack Druid and Forest, and if they attack Druid and Forest, free people can scouts to Eastamnet, and then move adjacent to Dol Guldur, and it doesn't matter if Shadow musters in Dol Guldur; they have Anduril. They can just take a stronghold this turn.
Absolutely.
So
I believe in Saved by Him. I think Saved by Him is a little too shrewd to take the Druid and Forest bait.
yeah, No, and
Because
absolutely.
you got to be wondering, as Shadow, where is Gondor going with this army? What is the eventual threatening plan? Um, I think you certainly predict scouts.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Okay, south runs down. We've got yeah, certainly want to get Thranduil in there before that stronghold gets hit.
Yep, that's gotta gotta do your homework.
Yep. I also call it the homework. I kind of thought that that was unique to me.
Well, the definition of homework can vary. Sometimes sometimes you just gotta play the card though.
I think it's kind of
What do you
a
think you would do? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's an interesting way to view Shadow that you have when the game begins, you have six muster dice that are spoken for before you're really allowed to play them for anything else. Four to get everyone to war, and two more for your minions, and then you're allowed to play musters for other things. Um,
Yeah, and they still haven't used them all. That's a good point.
yeah. What would I do if I were in this position as Shadow?
Yeah, a shadow, because it's really interesting to me. They only have one attack. Um, they want to be wary. And Free People gets to six dice. As Shadow, you want to be wary of attacking Gondor because that really activates Aragorn's army.
Okay, can we talk about what just happened?
Gandalf to Lorien.
Gandalf to Lorien?
That is
Safe to say
two
you don't see that
armies
every day.
with two companions each. So Legolas and Gandalf in Lorien, and they're pretty big armies.
Yeah, this is becoming a very frightening Free People military operation. Um, I think if you are saved by him, you are aware of this. You know where you're vulnerable. Minas Morgul is a little spicy. Dol Guldur is quite spicy. Moria a little scary. Um, but you also know that if you can kind of shore up these places and this attack from Free People doesn't work, you're in a great position. Um, so you can even see this. He's still trying to kind of like. He's still playing corruption cards on the Fellowship because he knows that in the future it may be the case that this military campaign doesn't work out and Free People has to destroy the ring.
Yep. I think that's a very good and important play of Shadow here to just not let up on the Fellowship.
Right, right. I think with this lure, of course, you're hoping that you hit Gimli. Uh, both because that is the highest value target and because if you don't kill Gimli, there's a possibility that he joins the fun and makes this even worse military wise.
Yeah, he's right in range for Fear Fire foes now,
Yep.
which, for those unaware, just is a card that brings the North straight to war if you have a companion over in the Northwest.
Wei is being very patient with King Bran's men. If I were him, I'd be itching to get that played before something bad happens to Dale. But I think he knows that Shadow can't risk poking the Northern Bear with everything else that's going on right now.
Yeah, um, that is that is definitely not the top of Shadow's hit list right now. I think it's also a situation where, as free people, um, you want to save two dice so that if you do get attacked with Aragorn, you can move twice with a ring.
Explain that sequence.
Well, free people is wanting to pass right now because if they are attacked in Druiden Forest, they can scouts. or maybe they'll just fight a field battle and then retreat. And then they want to be able to spend a ring on that muster and then attack with the character die. Basically, being able to, anything that comes up, they want to have dice left over to take advantage of it.
Right, right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so a dreadful spells aimed at a nearly defenseless Minas Tirith. That's quite nice. Off of two
I've never
Nazgul.
used that card.
That's very funny. Oh, poor Baragond.
The guards of the Citadel fall just like that.
Yep. Kind of a cheeky move from Saved by Him.
Yeah,
Forces
it draws
this.
out a character die from free people.
And as I think is a relatively well-known sort of strategic balance of this game, anytime as Shadow you can spend a die to force free people to spend a die, that's a trade that's pretty much in your favor. Um,
Especially a
though,
character die like that.
yeah, absolutely. Although that is to say, the balance is a bit more even when free people has both of their what is the free people term for minion? Good guy minion.
That's a good question. I mean, they're not captains of the West.
They're
We already
not
have a term for that.
really big companions. It feels antithetical to the spirit of Lord of the Rings to call them important companions. Everyone's important.
In the end, even Pippin is very important.
That is true. Uh, we should note that right now on the political track, Rohan and oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. They're not active because the Witch King hasn't been played.
But now they go down towards war.
Uh huh. I'm very surprised that Saved by Him did
Yeah,
not play the Witch King this round.
yeah. They don't want to get anybody to war, so they're not going to spend dice mustering free people nations for them. I
I
think is their
suppose
idea.
so. The only thing that really happens, though, is that you activate Rohan. Isn't that right?
Yes, but they would still have to spend the dice attacking Gondor or attacking the elves or the North.
For sure. For sure.
No Quarter is a great card
Hmm.
for free people to have. Everything's kind of in a standstill at the moment. Shadow doesn't want to accelerate free people military victory, and so
Yeah.
they're not getting the Witch King and they're not attacking.
That army with Aragorn isn't that strong right now. It's only got 5 hit points in it, right?
It's not, yeah.
I think there's maybe a temptation to do something about that. But of course, you just know as Shadow, the moment you hit that, the nonsense begins. The scouts pops out of there. Who knows what's else? What else? Through a day and a night, maybe.
Yeah, it's unless you have a swarm of bats in hand to cancel scouts,
Right.
it feels very scary to attack that army. But, they have another army coming in from Mordor. Maybe the plan is to just kind of surround Aragorn before the
Yeah.
attack comes.
The more troops you have over there, the safer you feel. Certainly. To anybody watching right now, uh, we should all be taking notes. This is how you play Free People. This is working.
Well, it's also a very good shadow defense so far. Played very well by both sides.
But to have put Shadow on defense at all is in itself somewhat remarkable. It's not typically how Shadow plays.
Yeah, it's very scary for Shadow. I think the fear factor of Aragorn is a real thing.
So,
Interesting rules. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. No, I was going to say the same thing. Right now, we're sort of at a pause as Wei ponders what he's going to do with all this flexibility. You sort of have to start with a will because I don't think you really want to lose two dice to Day Without Dawn, if Saved by Him happens to have it. And then you're sort of
Yeah,
stuck with three Palantiri, which is not really what anyone wants, but yeah, you don't really have very playable cards either right now, unfortunately. Great combat effects, but not so good on the events.
maybe you spend Legolas's ability to muster the elves with those.
I think that could make sense. You spent the dice to put him there, so might as well get some use out of him.
They are continuing to get Rohan to war. I think this is very interesting. That army in Druidane is a little weak, but if it gets help from Rohan, then it is suddenly a lot stronger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if Wayne needs to, he can activate Rohan by himself simply by sending Aragorn to Edoras or Helm's Deep
Or Gandalf, yes.
or Gandalf. True.
Yeah, Wormtongue is not a concern with Aragorn hanging around.
A famously somewhat undertuned card, I think. I don't know how you patch it to make it better, but I often wish that it could be a little more impactful than it is.
I'm always unsure about that card. I think it is better with expansions, especially Lords. So
Hmm.
I like that it exists.
I like that it exists too. I just sort of wish I don't know. It's not even in my top three card complaints, so I don't know what I'm what I'm going on about.
I think if I'm Shadow, Threats and Promises, the card I want to see the
I
most.
don't mind having threats and promises if I draw it round one.
Yeah, I've seen it pop off in certain game states. So that's what's cool about this game. There's anything can come up.
So, if ever there was a time that you could get away with hitting Gondor, you could do it this turn. Okay, yeah, Saved by Him agrees because there's not so much response that can be done quickly. Uh, Free People just kind of has a bit of a sad role,
Yeah,
but
they only two attacks.
and I'm a little surprised about sending the two regulars, but I suspect, and I'm curious about your take on this, that the play here is, well, if everyone goes into Minas Tirith, which is what you'd normally see, it opens up this horrible backdoor for Aragorn to start attacking Mordor. If only two guys go in, then Aragorn has to take a fight to liberate it if he wants to do that, where he might take a hit, whittling down an already small army, and it leaves a fairly strong presence in Osgiliath to protect against any shenanigans.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money. I think it's a really smart play by Saved by Him to keep Osgiliath protected because that is just such an important spot. And if Aragorn can get there in a massive army, you're just in a world of hurt.
Right. They are both. Oh, there's Witch King. All right, so we're in. They are both doing such a good job. They're kind of glamping each other back and forth, giving each other hard choices. Each of them is making a move that sort of dares the other one to do something that they don't really want to do. Okay.
And there's great company.
And he's gonna overdraw his hand off of that. But with so many Palantiri dice, maybe that makes some sense.
You see
I've
Bookham Zarble, which is very useful for moving around companions. I'm
indeed,
sure that Way wishes it was Fear Fire Foes, though.
yeah. I think normally you'd consider tossing Path of the Woes is typically not a very strong card, but right now it's actually fantastic because it could give you an instant Rohan army right on top of Aragorn, which could be the dream.
It could be really important, and it's a sudden strike, which when you have five leadership like that is really scary. Oh, there goes
Absolutely.
Bookham Zarble. That makes sense, just for combat purposes.
Yeah. Okay. There's the attack. Do we see the scouts?
There's no swarm
Yes.
of bats, so they scouts away.
Yeah. We spent Grand on that, interestingly.
Yeah, I think it's a smart play. Dread and
Mm-hmm.
Despair is a good way to limit casualties, and Gron just doesn't matter as much in a game like this, I think.
Definitely. But now you are pushing that Gondor army up and up to places where it can unify to make the Doom stack.
Yeah, very interesting choice for free people here. Do you hang around in Rohan, fight it out, maybe get Rohan to war? Or do you try and take an early stronghold and see what you can do with that?
Okay, Rohan it is.
Yeah, Aragorn could not possibly be better defended if he's going there.
While I agree, it's also not the most useful place to have him in the middle of Rohan, right? Where is he going to go from here? I think is the question. I think towards Isengard is actually a very real possibility, especially with Ents and Anduril in hand. It makes pretty much. I mean, Anduril makes any stronghold a lot more crackable, and Ents is a fantastic card. This is Nameless Wood as well.
Yeah, that's a plus two
So
hit best card. And if he can get Rohan to war, because still has Path of the Roses, so that can jump back to Osgiliath.
that's right.
So we'll see how the timing of this all works out, but there is a lot of options here, I think.
This is very well set up. I'm sort of in awe. So Saved by Him needs to keep Path of the Woes in mind. Now he's certainly a good enough player to do that, but it is an easy card to forget. Um, because you're right, the moment Rohan is at war, that whole Aragorn army teleports.
Yeah. And I mean, it's easier to say said than done to keep it in mind when you have a lot of pressure on your army to keep the pressure on Aragorn.
Very much so. You can even get it into your head that, well, I can't bank on them having that card. If I have to gamble, I have to gamble. Though, with the state of the strategy deck, that all being said, it is a 1 in 3 chance he has it. Well, sorry, that's
A lot
that's
of early
bad
draws,
math,
yeah.
but what is it? He's down 10 cards, so closer to like a little less than 50%.
5 and 12, I think.
Yeah, that is correct. Some banter about how strange it is to be worried about Wormtongue being played.
Yeah, I can see how it would have been annoying for Wei. Wei saying it would have been bad to deal with Wormtongue because they would have had to spend a die to get somebody to activate Rohan,
Right.
or maybe keep Book of Mizarble.
So Saved by him, carefully considering how to spend his army movement this turn. What do we do? Because giving chase to Aragorn probably doesn't bear any useful fruit. But putting pressure on Gondor like this, well, start to sneak towards your victory point goals. I see some people in the chat asking, and yes, we are live right now. This game is being played as we speak. Not a soul knows what's going to happen.
Hi, everybody in the chat.
To people watching this on YouTube in the future, I'm afraid this is not live. We recorded it and posted it on YouTube. But if you're here on Twitch, we're live. So
Wait, did
with
use Legolas ability.
yep, like you predicted, with that Mordor army beginning to head north, we've kind of stepped up to Emyn Muil. We are abandoning those 7 regulars as reinforcements for the whole Gondor Aragorn situation. Is that a little dangerous? Are we not afraid of leaving only 3 regulars in Mordor?
It's definitely a little dangerous. Um, I mean, they need to be worried. Really, the only card that could put them in a lot of trouble right now is Path of the Roses. Unfortunately, we know that Way has it.
Right.
I suppose Dead Men could also be scary. But I think what they're thinking, what Saved by Him is thinking, is they're gonna send that army to Eastamnet, and then it's gonna be surrounding Aragorn and limiting his ability to break out somewhere.
Perhaps so, but I do think that you are aware of all of the cards that can get him out of there, even if he's surrounded. Um, if he's got Dead Men, if he's got Path of the Roses, you have a real problem.
There's Black Captain. They're on the move. Yeah, no, and you're totally right. It's a very dangerous situation for Shadow, and it's a really good thing for them that Rohan is not at war. If they were one more down, it would be much worse for Shadow here.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got someone in chat has called out that Saved by Him should probably block Osgiliath. I think that's probably right. That cuts down on the utility of Path of the Roses quite a bit. Although there's not really that much of a rush to do that. I think Saved by Him knows that that card is only playable if Rohan is at war. And so if you see Rohan at war, it's pretty easy to step up in there. Well, there we go. We're there now.
Yeah, he's going ahead and taking care of business, which
Yeah.
is wise.
But even had those South runs not been in position, you could always just take one regular out of Druiden Forest, step it back the moment Rohan's at war, and then you've taken care of the problem. So it is something that you can kind of have on your to-do list when it becomes relevant. Okay.
I think Saved by Him was just trying to use Black Captain commands as Ring Racer abroad.
Right. Oh, there's the surround you were talking about. And that surround does protect Dol Guldur from Through a Day and a Night being played.
Yep, completely blocks it. And then I think we will see the Southrons go into Osgiliath, as has been talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And then that will kind of continue to corral Aragorn a little bit. It's not a sure
Another
thing.
thing you could do, you could go for Dol Amroth here. Um, any musters spent to defend Dol Amroth are musters that are not being spent to build up armies in much more dangerous places.
That is risky. That is quite the gamble. I think it could pay off. Um, the only issue is if Free People is able to get in with Dead Men, um, Umbar is now completely open, and Umbar is a much safer take than the Mordor strongholds. There's a lot that can reinforce
That
Mordor.
is a great point. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I I don't know. It might be worth a try.
I
It's a gamble, I guess you
I
could
think
say.
I think it's probably too big of a gamble. It doesn't get you enough to be worth what you would lose if Free People has Dead Men. I think it was just a a bad suggestion.
Well, it really depends on the particulars. Right now, Rohan is still not at war,
Hmm.
so things are going to change. And I don't think Saved by Him is going to attack Rohan until they are literally surrounded.
Right.
So, Free People is probably going to have to manually muster Rohan to war.
Yeah. So we've got draws. We've got a power two great, and we prove the swifter. A power two great has a really cool use case in a game like this because what you can do is you can take that entire Lorien army and go riding off into the sunset with it and still leave Lorien somewhat defended just with that card on the table.
Yeah, and that's kind of the natural extension of the military strategy for Free People to leave strongholds mostly undefended to try and get to 4 before Shadow gets to 10.
Yeah.
It's also no quarter. What would you get rid of here as Free People? They got rid of Eagles are
Apparently,
coming.
I would get rid of Eagles Are Coming. I think I agree with that, though. I don't rate the Eagles Are Coming event very highly. I don't think anyone does. The heroic death is
Oh,
fantastic, but is it better than any of these other cards? And I don't actually think it is.
yeah. I no, I agree. Um, Shadow just had an awful roll, and this could
Oh
change the game.
no, you're right. Now, not too many attacks for free people is the saving grace.
Yeah, it's. We'll see how Wei takes advantage of this. If they had Day Without Dawn, right now would be a great time to take away an attack.
Yeah, but free people might not give them the chance.
That's true.
So
I'm kind of guessing Free People are going to start by mustering Rohan, but we might see what happens there.
yeah, I think that Isengard might be very much on the menu. Still, especially with that Ent in your pocket, you're hanging on to it, and it has use even if you don't go for Isengard. You know, you can defend yourself if you are attacked out in the field, but I don't know. I just kind of want to see it. I would enjoy that very
I
much.
think you're totally right. I mean, look at this. Shadow has no musters. Um, Free People can save Athelas for another day and use Nameless Wood.
Okay, we are risking the will. We are mustering Rohan to war first. So now your excuse for not attacking is gone. Do you? But you can't really attack with that Witch King army. It's much too weak compared to the Aragorn army.
Well, it's weak, and also if Free People has scouts, that saves them an attack.
Yep, that's true. That's an excellent point. Oof.
This is really rough for Shadow. You know, in a Free People game like this, eventually Shadow's going to have a bad roll. But it kind of finally felt like Shadow was starting to. Oh, there's Day Without Dawn. That's a really clutch Day
That's
Without Dawn
very
right there.
nice.
You know, normally you might want to save that for more wills, but I feel like there that takes
Hmm.
away an attack from Free People, which is really important. I like Orthanc here too. Do you think you would spend a ring to put it under siege this turn? Or would you just like get a little closer?
The risk of doing that, well, boy, I might. I might. I'm trying to find the points here, and there's so many choices. Isengard is on the menu, but I really, well, I think Saved by Him has kind of defused the Path of the Woes' danger because now the only valid spot is Lossarnak, which is not really such a great spot. Um, as free people, you don't want to really wait for Dead Men. You don't have it, and you have 19 cards in the character deck still, so the odds of it coming up soon are pretty low. Um, so I guess, yeah, you're looking at Isengard and then one of Dolgulger or Moria, and if that is the case, probably you do put it under siege now because this is your chance. Shadow has no musters.
There's power to great.
Yep,
Yeah, it's interesting about that tempo. Um, and it also killing Saruman is killing a die for Shadow. And this game
exactly.
could go on for 6, 8 more turns. I'm not sure.
Those very common games where you play your 6 free people dice to Shadow's 8.
Yeah, it's Shadow is having it rough here. I mean, and 4 eyes is not. I mean, it's a lot of eyes, but it's a amount of eyes that Shadow will roll in a typical game. It will come up, and yeah, when you have turns like that, this will happen.
We're talking a lot about Free People's play, and not for no reason, because Free People has really grabbed the tempo of this game, which is unusual. It's quite rare. But I think a lot of credit has to be given to Saved by Him for how carefully he's engaging with this. He's giving it so much respect. Um, and trying to predict all of the bad things that can happen. Even that move of one regular from Moria to Dimril Dale, it's such a small move, but it is so powerful because now that hybrid from free is way less useful. It's so much less useful.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a great
so
move.
he's being very respectful of the strategy here, and he has to be so that this doesn't like rear up and kill him.
I not to say that Saved by Him couldn't just on their own figure out a good military strategy in the heat of the moment. But I do wonder if because Wei has kind of a reputation for doing these military plays, and I do wonder if Saved by Him was cognizant of that and was thinking ahead to this matchup.
Mm. We I think we all study our opponents a little bit, right? Just peek at how they like to play. See some folks
I
in
love that
chat.
concept of the preparation and the chess moves.
Exactly. Yeah. Folks in chat also complimenting that the free people play is very flashy and cool, but the shadow defense is subtle, and I think that's a great word to describe it. It is very non-obvious how you defend against something like this, and Saved by Him is doing an excellent job with that. And
Yeah,
as we said
absolutely.
earlier in the game, you don't need to beat the Free People army, really. All you need to do as Shadow is make sure that this military campaign kind of doesn't work. It just needs to sort of fizzle out. And if that happens, Free People's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. I mean, free people can muster up and make another attempt. Um, it it doesn't always have to be the first one, but this is exactly what you need to do with Shadow. And not forgetting about corruption too, because they were playing some cards earlier, and I'm sure if free people start moving the Fellowship again, they're going to be on them, ready to go with some nasty cards.
Yeah, yeah. They're having a bit of confusion right now, because Wei thinks that he should have had the last action based on how many eyes Shadow rolled, but it seems that Day Without Dawn might have been what shifted that math.
That's another great benefit of Day Without Dawn. That is maybe the best Day Without Dawn I've seen for one will.
They're asking if we saw a mistake. I didn't see one. Did you?
I did not see a mistake.
I think let's go ahead and just tell them that.
If you want, I could clarify about Day Without Dawn.
They called it out in their chat. Yeah, and Twitch chat agrees. I think everything's been legal. For game two, and there will be a game two. That is the excellent news. Is no matter what happens here, we'll have at least one more game. Um, we might want to have a referee on standby so that we can have someone observing for rules mistakes like that. If anyone watching this now or in the future is not a member of our community on Discord, highly recommended. Excellent people. Everyone is incredibly nice, welcoming to new people. Come play with us. It's a good time.
A lot of great players, great community. Bob just made a good point in chat about the move up into Parth Celebrant and just surrounding Gandalf, pinning him in.
Yeah, if you want to break out, you have to attack Dimril Dale, and then even if you do that, Parth Celebrant can hit you.
And it's
So,
closer to Moria.
hmm maybe what you do is just sit on that Lorien army. Just pop a squat.
Yeah, it would be great to trap Gandalf if Shadow is able to pull that off.
Yeah. The only major flaw there is that you have to clear a power 2 great first. Okay,
Now look at
we
that roll for Shadow. There we go.
yeah, this I think both of them probably got what they wanted with these rolls. The ring lies forgotten on the wrong side of the Misty Mountains.
They're joking about the ring, but I'm almost certain Free People's gonna go for Orthanc this turn.
So suppose you do. That's 2 points. Where's your other two?
That's a good point. Um, I think there's two options that I can see, and both of them rely on a card draw, right? I think Dead Men could get you points, and I think Fear Fire Foes could get you points. Um, Barring that, you need to. It's going to be a tough slog.
You say Fear Fire Foes. You would get points from Mount Gundabad in that case, or what?
Probably Monk Underbad. Once the
Yeah, I see.
North is involved in the game, they have such a gigantic force pool
Yeah, there it
that
is. There's our thing.
go a number of places.
Chat, game two is not going to be streamed today. That'll be at some point in the future. Playing these games and playing these games at this level is exhausting. No one wants to play this twice in a row. Little rules question in the game chat, and Wei is correct. You cannot use the voice of Saruman if Saruman is besieged, so you can't do that sneaky little upgrade. Um, what you can do is play um, a new power is rising if you happen to draw it.
That would be a great card to have.
I think if Saved by Him is asking the question, though, he may not have it.
Well, I think you'd still prefer to do the voice if you could.
Fair. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, we might see the best way to get rid of Palantir Vorthanc, which is just killing Saruman outright.
That's what happened in the book, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But you made a really great point about just where are the other 2 points, and that is what exactly what Saved by Him is playing for. Saruman is ultimately expendable if they
Mm-hmm.
can just hang
Mm-hmm.
on and start taking back control of this game.
I wonder if there is a world. Would you ever consider you use that hybrid to try to take Orthanc? But with one or even both of those character dice, you start moving again. Is that a thing that you consider as free people to kind of put a ring victory back on the table?
Yeah, that would be a really cool move. I think at least one free move would be nice just to make Shadow keep allocating eyes.
So I'm gonna, because this won't be in YouTube, I'm gonna just sort of copy some of this stuff. There is a really excellent comment that chat just made. I love this so much. Apparently, Wei has said, maybe I didn't hear him say it. Maybe it was tongue in cheek. Maybe it was very serious. Maybe a little of both. But Wei has said that you can always count on Shadow not having a new power is rising in their hand because they are so excited to draw it that they never hold it. I I think Saved by Him is a good enough player that I think he would at least consider holding it if he drew it, if there was a reason to. But I think that is probably generally correct. Most people are not going to hold that card. Why would you? It's so good.
Yeah, and taking those risks, it can pay off sometimes because your opponent is not always going to have that card that they need.
Right, right. You know, there is a hero's journey of how you think about the card Day Without Dawn in this game as you kind of get better at the game. I think it goes from being a card that you sort of twirl your mustache and cackle when you draw it because, oh, I'm going to get so many wills, uh, to eventually, I throw away that card more often than not because the threat of Day Without Dawn is so much scarier than actually having seen it.
And for the rest of this game, Free People does not have to worry about their wills of the West.
Absolutely.
Now, that being said, I still think the play that Shadow made for that Will of the West was absolutely correct in the turn that they made it.
Oh, of course, they had to do it because it was one of Free People's only attacks, and Shadow had nothing they could defend with. I think it was very smart.
And it saved the Saruman die for another turn as well.
Right.
It's very important. But it is a benefit to Free People here. And now I think Wei is trying to decide if they try and save Gandalf or if they accept him being put under siege.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If this were Loam, if we were playing Lords of Middle Earth, and you could muster Galadriel, I say he stays.
Gandalf and Galadriel, that is enough to give any Shadow player nightmares.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Man, I think of all the expansions, of all of the fantastic ways there are to play this amazing board game, I think Galadriel is my favorite component in the entire game because of how impactful she is for how small. You know, just like here's this unit that you can muster in Lorien, and it changes the entire game. It might also have a small amount
Yeah,
to do
it
with the
really
fact
does.
that she's one of my favorite characters in the book, so that's not
If I
enough.
were to pick from the Lord's expansion, I would pick Elrond,
Really?
for all the things he does.
Why is that?
I love that aspect of being able to take two actions in a row. It enables free people military things. It means that free people always kind of can feel like they have a chance. It's possible to get up Mordor in one round.
Uh-huh.
So I really like Elrond,
Yeah.
although he's kind of silly. He's not as good as Galadriel.
He's a little silly. Chat just asked if Celeborns has been played. Yes, it has. Free People drew it round one.
It was the first action of the game by Free People, I believe.
Uh, Someone says, I didn't realize Saruman can move in the case of retreat. He cannot. That is not true. What you can do with Saruman vis-a-vis retreating is if you retreat the entire army except for Saruman, he doesn't die because he only dies if he is alone, or I mean, if he's with a shadow army that is then defeated. If he's alone, he can't really be defeated. Uh, of course, then free people can just sit on you until they can play an end card, and then they wipe Saruman for free.
Maybe that's what they meant when they brought up retreating.
Could be, could be. Players are just thinking a lot here. Well, think. Oh, never mind. We've got Wei, who is okay. Gandalf stays, and we reinforce Lorien. So Wei
Might be
says,
hard to
"Bring
say
it,"
what he says in chat. Bring it, yeah.
and Saved by Him brings it. Now that stronghold's not gonna fall for a while, but your wizard's stuck.
Yeah, I wonder what the plan is there. Because Gandalf is fine, but he's not going to be doing anything.
Which I think is very valuable, right? You don't want him riding around on Shadowfax, joining up with armies, disabling Nazgul, and generally being a pain in the butt, right?
Yeah, it's a great move for Shadow. Um, it's a little sad for Free People, but that army is definitely stuck.
Okay, we're fighting in Orthanc. The I think this is the first stronghold battle of the game. Devilry of Orthanc. Is that playable here?
I think the text says a defending army in a siege. And Free People just got 6 hits round one.
Good lord.
That is
Well,
that
the
is pretty
Ents
crazy.
showed up.
Devilry did show up as well. The 4 turns into a hit.
Indeed. My goodness, that is bloody. But there he goes. There's your wizard. Gone. Poof.
That's a lot of violence.
Wow. And that army with Aragorn still, I mean, pretty stacked.
It can hold that stronghold for a long
A
time.
long time. But realistically, what army is even going to show up to challenge it? Oh my
I wonder if the
gosh.
South runs are going to move over to Rohan. Um, I'm really curious how Saved by Him approaches the situation because right now Rohan has like nothing in it, but it is at war. So if they're allowed to muster up, they can make another big army and be a problem.
Yeah. Though you have immediate problems as well. You've got Rivendell closing in on Moria. That's a problem. Um, you've got a Gondor which can muster as much as it wants, and Umbar is kind of a problem. Maybe not so immediate one, but phew. And you're down to die now. That's scary.
I might have spoken too soon about needing dead men or fear fire foes because I don't know if Shadow has the dice to cover both Gondor and Rohan. The dice and the
Right.
armies.
Yeah, where do the troops even come from? You have so many troops tied up in sitting on Lorien. Um, oh boy. Saved by Him says need to think a bit, which is extremely understandable. This is a tough situation to play out of. So need to think a bit is right. What are you thinking as Shadow right now? you have the entire Anduin lined with orcs, but no like really solid armies anywhere. You've got one on Lorien, which is not really enough to do anything with it. And you've got a decent chunk of Southrons in Osgiliath. This is a bit of a mess.
Once Free People takes one stronghold, uh, the walls close in a little bit. Now that being said, Free People still doesn't have a path to another one. I I wonder, and Free People doesn't have any musters, so maybe they just start trying to suppress everything, take over all
Yeah.
the settlements, Gondor and Rohan. That's, I mean, at any rate, that's what I can think of in this
So
moment.
maybe now you start kind of heading towards Dol Amroth, you mean? Or maybe what you said before, you have to cover Rohan before that becomes bad again.
Something like covering Lossarnach and Westernet, Fold, and Edoras, and then you just have an army in Osgiliath, and next turn it can go cover up the rest of Gondor. That
Yeah.
still leaves Helm's Deep, though. And you need to make sure Moria doesn't fall, because it's not a big army coming down, but you have to at least give it the respect it deserves.
For sure. And tragically, if you move that army, the best positioned army to defend it is in Lorien. But if you leave Lorien, Lorien will fight its way out, and now you have a bigger problem. Um, I think probably the best way to defend Moria that I can see is you put an elite into North Dunland or something like that, and then move those troops in. Um, those two elites from Rivendell are scary versus one regular, but I don't think they're too scary to much more than that.
Yeah, I like the idea of using Isengard Force Pool because that Sauron Force Pool can get depleted really quickly if
It's a
Free
great point.
People is attacking everywhere.
It's a great point. Okay, so we have put reinforcements in South Rune. I wonder if we're going to see Easterlings come west. It looks like we are.
Well, that's clever. I didn't see that, and as we've said before, Saved by Him is one of the best players,
Yeah.
one of the best players in the community. And yeah, bringing some guys over from South Rune, now you have the reinforcements you need. That Southron army in Osgiliath is going to go take out
Mm-hmm.
Rohan, and you can still cover Gondor.
It's very enjoyable, I would say, watching Say by Him play this game, because I think about myself in this position, and how badly I would have lost this game already. It's nice to see
As
someone
we
who knows
say
what they're
that,
doing.
they did already take it back.
Well,
I do think even with that solution, it is a little slow, um, which is dangerous. It might still be the right call, but it's a little scary.
you've got a lot of half moves that you get to play with this round as Shadow, right?
Yeah, you really wish you had like three shadow is moving right now.
Um, I'd like to point out that Saved by Him just tried to play Balrog because they thought he thought that he could redraw with Palantir, forgetting, of course, that it's gone now that Saruman has died. Asked if he could undo, and Wei said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And that is one of the best things about the War of the Ring community is that we take this game somewhat seriously, right? People like to win. This is the finals of our largest tournament of the year, and these players are still such good sports that they're allowing undos and takesy backsies that they are under no obligation to offer. People are just great. This whole community is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on Wei for allowing
Yeah.
that when yeah, and these kind of games get so quickly into uncharted territory. that it's easy to miss
There's a lot
very
going
minor
on.
things.
A lot going on. Yeah. To anyone else watching this game, I strongly encourage if your opponent ever asks if they can take something back and you don't have to let them, just let them. It's just a game.
Somebody just asked, how is Free People getting to 4 for the new players? And that's a great question. If I'm going to honestly respond to that, I don't know.
We're trying
And
to
I don't
figure it
know if
out.
Wei knows yet.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't even know if Wei knows. But they just need to find 2 more. That's the thing. Um, so the game will develop, opportunities will come up. They have Kierden ships. That might be relevant over in Pelargir. Um, and I think before this is out, we might see the answer to that.
I
Or,
think
Savedbyhim will be able to restrict them.
the okay, Free People is running, that's cute. The stronghold to watch I think is certainly Moria. Uh certainly Umbar. Moria and Umbar, I think, are the scary places right now. Mordor itself, while not heavily garrisoned, I think is relatively safe from anywhere there are units on the map right now.
Yeah, it's Praxis who says Free People has a hell of an offensive hand, and they really do. Andrill is great to have. We prove the Swifter gets companions anywhere you need them.
Shadow has just scored their first victory point of the game. Good for Shadow.
Congrats to
Saved by
Saved by
him,
Him.
we are all very proud of you.
No, it's tongue in cheek, but this Shadow's playing very well. This is not the kind of game where you race to 10 at Shadow.
Very much so. I think it's all in good fun. I think Saved by Him with his comment in the game chat is also acknowledging how silly that is that he just got his first point on turn. What are we on now? 5, something like that. But yeah, as you say, he's playing this game very correctly.
And good call, Bob. There's another scouts for Free People that will probably be useful at some point.
As Shadow, you would expect Free to have another scouts by now. There's 3 scouts in the deck. Deck has 24 cards. So it's about what you'd expect.
If you're me, I get scared and I just assume Free People always has scouts. But that is probably the correct and measured way of approaching it. Oh, and there's through day and night. So
Oh
they have
my
the
word. Okay.
trinity of great Free People military cards. They might get rid of Path of the Woses.
You think?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it depends on if they think they're going to leave Orthanc or not.
I think you throw there and back again. Probably.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
Um,
definitely a throw.
I Is it crazy to say that I would consider throwing We Prove the Swifter?
I don't think it's crazy. I think there's maybe two things Free People can do here. They could either like emerge from Orthanc with that army and try fighting in Rohan, in which case throwing We Prove the Swifter makes sense, or they might want to get Aragorn and Boromir down to Pelargir after getting some more forces there, in which case We Prove the Swifter would be very useful. So I think it really depends on what Free People is thinking of doing.
Yeah. How's this for a hot take? What if you sacked the last battle? What if
That
you
is an
said?
idea. I
What
mean,
if you said?
that's
I don't need a
crazy.
daylight.
What's crazy is I can't really fully disagree with you there. I mean, the daylight is great, but you have so many good cards.
Uh huh.
And, through Dana Knight and Othalos, practically, like, you need to find an army somewhere, but that practically takes a stronghold on its own.
Yeah, it's a great point. Now, Aragorn has to do something here. If Aragorn hangs out and chills in Orthanc, well, those Easterlings are on their way. And it might not be enough to take Orthanc back, but it is enough to sit on Orthanc. and that kind of
Yeah,
dashes a lot of your military hopes because now all of your armies are tied up, and how are you gonna get them out? Um,
they got rid of We Prove the Swifter and Grimbjorn. Yeah, I think if
yeah.
Aragorn either needs to run away or he needs to fight in Fords of Isen, probably.
So what's interesting is that the card that you and I both saw as the obvious one to toss, there and back again, actually Wei wanted to keep.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's a brave stand, so it's basically a daylight. It's pocket daylight for the two important battles here in
Right.
Lorien
I can't
and Fords of Isen.
imagine. I can't imagine Wei wants it for the event.
I'm a little surprised to throw the scouts. I guess, but fair. I don't see the immediate use for it.
It's another Palantir heavy roll for Shadow. That's got to be pretty annoying.
Not a great role for Shadow. At least they only have one eye.
Maybe free people just sprints. I don't really think so, but they could. So let me ask you a question. You ready for? We got to get some spicy hot takes in here. Have you ever played Return to Valinor as an event?
Well, does this include the Kings of Middle Earth expansion?
What happens in Kings of Middle Earth?
In Kings of Middle Earth, Return to Valinor hits on fives if you have multiple
Oh,
corrupted strongholds, corrupted sovereigns, and you do not need to hold an elven stronghold in the first place. You just have to corrupt a sovereign. So
wow.
it actually it is significantly improved. It makes more sense. In the base game, I think I did once, and then I realized I should never play this again.
Yeah. I had a similar experience. I played it, I got no hits. My opponent simply said, okay, with a period after it in the chat, and I was adequately shamed into never playing it again. Alright, we have done Shadow's version of passing, which is to just slip a red tile into the pool. Why not?
They have so many Palantirs, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, that also means that Shadow doesn't feel like they have anything that urgently needs doing. They're willing to let Free make the first move, which I think makes sense.
I think as free people, you would have preferred to get more musters here. I'm curious where they intend to go because that's so many attacks. I wonder if they're going to take advantage of that or if they're going to continue to kind of bide their time.
Yeah. Way also passing. Savedbyhim draws. Everyone's kind of stalling out here, but Way's got to do something now. I think going back to that question from a while ago, where are the other 2 points? I think the reason Wei is stalling right now is because the answer to that is just really not obvious. Uh, Saved by Him
I
has
have
done a really good job of defending this.
one possibly insane thing that free people could do is move out Fords of Isen with Helm's Deep, move to Gap of Rohan with Aragorn, and then just march through the Dunlands into Moria. You don't care what Shadow does. You have Athelas and
Yeah. So
and
that's
a turn.
that's very cute, but how do you hold Orthanc then, if that's what you do?
It's tricky. I think you would. Well, I think you probably would have wanted the scouts because those guys in Forts of Eisen can get back into Orthanc, and maybe you leave a regular. So it's something like a 2-2. I don't know. That's a
Yeah.
like you said, it's a bit cute. But I don't know if that's a good way to guarantee you win the game.
I'll tell you one thing that we could do is we could take this dangerous magic jewelry and we could start carrying it towards the volcano. That is, I am told, how some people win this game occasionally. Um,
I think he'll move once. You know, you want keep Shadow to keep allocating an eye.
right, right, right. Well, if Shadow allocates an eye, you're almost on the same number of dice.
Yeah, 7 to 6. And then they just need to roll one more, and you're at parity. So if Shadow has 2 eyes, Free People is at parity. If they have any more than 2 eyes, Free People has more dice than Shadow. That's a really stark action economy
Yeah.
with Saruman dead.
Man, I don't care who you are. I don't care what side you're playing. If you're playing War of the Ring and you lose your wizard, it's a sad day.
That poor wizard.
Words to live by.
Savedbyhim has been drawing strategy cards, which I like. There's a lot of reinforcement cards they could draw. So
Yep.
I think they're digging for those, you know, surprise shadows on the Misty Mountains or orcs multiplying again, whatever they need.
Yeah. Character deck is mostly going to help you with corruption, and if Free People doesn't start moving, corruption's pointless. And if they do, the corruption should kind of start to take care of itself, at least in part.
You know, if Shadow doesn't invest at all in corruption, free people can dunk from here. Gollum can save a lot of corruption, and there's still like Bilbo Song out there and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
it's a good point.
it will take like 10 more turns, you know. So it
That's
would be
kind
a
of what I
long road
mean
getting there.
by the corruption will take care of itself. Not that you won't have to do anything, but that by the time you do have to do something, you will have had time to kind of draw more character cards. You know what I mean?
Bob just pointed out that Way tossed Mithril, so I don't think dunking is on his mind. Or did he? I don't remember him doing so.
If that happened, I missed it. I don't know that Way tossed Mithril. Uh,
Now I have definitely seen Way toss Mithril in plenty of games.
Maybe he did and I
But
missed it.
I don't know if he did this one.
Chat, can we confirm? Did Way actually toss Mithril Coat? I can't rewind. If chat lies to me and Mithril shows up later, I'm gonna be mad. Okay, we've got a Nazgul on the Fellowship, just in case.
Yeah, I mean rerolls are always worth it, and you're going to
Sure.
Westamnet. I think you shut down Rohan here. I think maybe that's what Way's plan is. Just take
I
Helm's Deep so they don't have any more mustering points.
it is again a testament to how meticulous. I use the word as a compliment. How meticulous, how careful a player Saved by Him is. It would be so easy to be so sucked into the Aragorn vortex that you forget that you have to cover all of these bases. As we said before, this is a game where there is so much going on at one time. But we are dotting the I's, we are crossing the T's, we're not giving an inch, we're not going to let Free People make any meaningful progress easily.
Yeah, it's a really well played game. And Odinus, yes, Free People did muster in Lorien before it went under siege. Um, that was preceding the Bring It that we had
Yeah.
in chat.
Which does mean, we have not said this, there is only one more Elven Elite in Free People's Force Pool, which somewhat reduces the efficacy of Círdan's ships, were that to be played.
Yeah, it would have to be an elite and a regular, which is still a good reinforcement,
Yeah.
but not quite as great.
You know, I've been saying a lot of nice things about our community during this stream. One more nice thing I'll say is that it has been over a year since I have heard anyone pronounce the card Círdan's ships as Círdan's ships. Um, Don't do that. That's not how it's pronounced. And you'll make Tolkien cry.
Yeah, we can't have Tolkien crying.
No.
I do think pronunciation gets better. Um, I've had my struggles with some of the place names out west. That's for sure.
I try not to pronounce Druath Iar.
I think that was pretty much right, but like a pirate's version of it.
Right, right. Well, sometimes pirates do show up there. It is not unheard of for Círdan's ships to be played in that region.
Or, you get warriors in Middle Earth involved and anything can happen.
Man, Warriors gets a bad rap. More people should play Warriors in Middle Earth. If you're watching this right now, like, go play WoM. Go out and buy it if you don't have it, and play WoM with as many people who will still talk to you as possible. It's fantastic. You know, someone in chat saying that their 9-year-old pronounces Círdan with a soft C. I think we allow that. That is permissible. It's not until you turn 10 that you have to pronounce the names correctly. I think is the cutoff.
Yeah, when he turns 10, you really got to make sure that 9-year-old is saying it right.
You gotta fix it at that point. That's the cutoff. And we have
Bob saying warriors deserves the bad rap.
yeah. How do you kick someone? How do you
unfortunately
kick someone
agree.
from chat? Is there a ban? Can I ban? There we go.
I'm unfortunately a bit of a Warriors hater. I want to like it. I think someday I will convince myself that there is no war in Ba Sing Se and
I,
Warriors is a good expansion.
there
I
are
think
no
someday I'll.
Warriors haters. Nobody hates WoM. There are only future WoM lovers. That's the truth of the matter.
I'll get there someday. I just haven't seen the light yet.
Okay, so we are attacking Moria at last. Moria might not siege because that Rivendell army is quite small, and yep, we're field battling. Okay. This has the potential to be very risky because,
Is
as we
Shadow still in
know,
Balrog?
he has it in his hand unless he's discarded it. There it is.
Yeah, what a. I don't know if Way forgot that. Well, that's one hit.
I think he may have
That takes an Elven regular out of the
one
reinforcements.
one
Oh,
back.
and then two hits.
Oh, what? Oh my! Oh wow! Oh, we are really. There have been a lot of sixes this game. I'll tell you that
Six,
much.
six, six, and the whole Glorfindel attack is done.
Sad times.
I love seeing some gutsy field battles. I mean, I guess that could go horribly and you're regretting it, but that was
Yeah.
a smart move by Savedbyhim.
We have a little Gandalf quote in the chat here. We do need to take those shadow casualties. So. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty big. That dashes a lot of the existing military hopes of free people, I think.
Well, it makes things very dangerous because now Rivendell is done.
Right.
Minas Tirith can fall, so Shadow can get to 5 points very easily. They could probably take Helm's Deep and get to 7, although Aragorn might have something to say about that. 5 points is starting to get to the point where it's dangerous for free people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, um, that is quite the turnaround. I feel like perhaps Rivendell would have been better suited to turn around and go back home.
Yeah, even without Balrog, let's say that we remembered Balrog or that Saved by Him didn't have it. That was still a risky attack. It was 4 hit points against 3. I don't know. But I
It was
think
a risk.
Wei. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think Wei might have been feeling the pressure of needing to find points and feeling like that was the only place to find them. Um, so maybe he felt like he needed to try.
It's possible the plan was get it under siege, send some companions in, um, and maybe it's risky no matter how you do it, or just force Shadow to spend more dice to defend it if they went under siege.
Yeah. Okay, so Free People, funnily enough, has begun to actually move along in a bit of a clip now. Uh, Perhaps this is an acknowledgement of the collapse of the military strategy, which I think I really do you see any way out for Free People military victory at this point?
They're not going to win a military victory next turn, but I think they certainly could turn 9 or turn 10 if they get the right cards.
Okay, so what is the route that you see to Free People military victory? Because I don't really see it.
It's dead men or fear fire foes. That's really what it comes down to. If they get either of those cards, they can build up a new massive army. They can leave Orthanc, leave a 1/4, maybe leave Boromir there. Good luck to Shadow retaking it anytime soon. And then they can go take a second stronghold.
With Dead Men, Aragorn would have to go back to Rohan, right? I don't think it can be played
That's true.
from Orthanc, can it?
It cannot.
And then
Um,
where would he go? Because there's nowhere you currently have an army.
he can go Pelargir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go
I
Pelargir.
confused. I mixed up Dead Men with Path of the Woses. There's no army required. That's right. Never mind. Yeah, makes sense.
Really, what I would love to draw, it's an Ents, which is nice. They're killing Círdan ships, which makes sense. What I would love to draw is Fear Fire foes, because with the North involved, it's just going to be so hard to defend Moria, Dol Guldur, and Mount Gundabad.
Mm-hmm. For all of the orcs along the western bank of the Anduin, we managed to sneak over to the eastern bank, and Free People is free and clear. It's funny, you very rarely see South Anduin Vale get chosen by Free People, even though it is technically on the shortest path.
A little awkward because you can get Cruel Weathered into Dol Guldur on that
I
route,
I think that's why you don't see it.
but I mean, it makes sense in this game, certainly.
Yeah.
Um, this is going to be interesting in Orthanc. Saved by Him has done a great job. Now he's cornered Aragorn, and they have an equal army. Now, Free People can fight it out with an Ents Rage. They can probably take out that Witch King army, but it's not going to leave them with much left over.
Would you evacuate Aragorn in this case, or does he stay there and fight?
If you aren't moving right now, he has to stay and fight. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Wei just made that choice, so
I think if Aragorn gets covered up right now, I don't see a path to a military victory. Oh, but they're going for it.
I wonder why. I think this is much more about killing Aragorn than it is about cap. Oh well, there we go. Maybe we're just gonna sit on Aragorn. That makes sense.
Yeah, they can't take that stronghold anytime soon.
Yeah.
Um, this is interesting. I wonder, but where do you get the armies and the companion and the leadership to take another stronghold?
As Shadow.
Oh, as Free People, sorry.
Oh,
As Shadow, this
I
is like you should be doing. Like, look at how Saved by Him is splitting so that they can still go and take Orthanc.
right.
At Helm's Deep, rather.
Yeah, yeah, I knew what you meant. Yeah, as Free People, I don't think you do. I think even Wei realizes that that plan is off the table at this point. Um, so now he's going to have to play a much more kind of traditional. The script is sort of flipping. Saved by Him has effectively stymied this approach. Now Shadow is on the offensive, and Free People is back on kind of the defensive rushing mode. Is my read of the board state right now. We'll see if Wei agrees by the way he plays.
Yeah, I think they're going to muster Gondor some more. So they'll have some hit points down there. Um, I think Shadow can't completely rush military because they have to be really wary about these guys. But without leadership, it's a lot harder to take a stronghold.
Right. So we've talked a lot about Free People's route to military victory. Let's look at Shadows. Now that we've kind of approached that time, I think we see Helm's Deep is very vulnerable. Minas Tirith is very vulnerable, which makes 5 in the south. You can crack Woodland Realm plus Dale in the north. That's 8, and then you can pick up 2
No.
more from Rivendell. So they've got a pretty solid path.
Yeah, Shadow has a great path here. Um, if Free People does nothing and doesn't force against it, I mean, you could see a Shadow victory, military victory in as soon as 2 turns.
Yeah, I agree. I would go so far as to say, unless something very strange happens, which it absolutely could, that now seems to be the most likely outcome of this game.
So I think there and back again is important for this game state because all the other companions are under siege. There's still 2 companions in the Fellowship.
And you would put them out on the map?
I'm not sure where. You could go over to like Dale. I don't think he actually played King Brandsman.
No.
Yeah, without King Brainsman, probably not. Probably just Pelargir then. But that's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, even now, um, Saved by Him thinking very carefully about how to unpick this. Because you're right, as you said, if Saved by Him gets too confident, if Shadow moves too aggressively, haha, I'm gonna win the military game now, uh, it opens the door for bad things to happen. That Lorien army, particularly, could still break out of there. I'm less concerned about the Orthanc army, but you never know. And with Athelas in hand, with Ent's Rage, that's kind of scary as well.
Yeah. Saved by Him, again, is doing a great job of limiting free people options. But it takes a slip up by Shadow or a horrible roll. And we're gonna see if that happens.
Yeah,
I don't
as we
think free
know, you never get
right.
bad rolls on Java.
Oh, what a great I didn't see this. Path of the Woses, they're abandoning Helm's Deep and they're going into Lossernach. And now they have a decent army over in Gondor.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you do with this army that you have now? Do you take it down to Pelargir and try to make something of it, or do you try to reinforce Minas Tirith to make it less of a gimme?
That's a good question. If they do reinforce Minas Tirith, then this could transition to a more classic um, ring dunk game
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because then Minas Tirith is going to be tricky for Shadow to take with 2 extra elites.
Right.
Um, and it's the path to 10 isn't so clear. But I think if I know way, they're probably going to move to Pelargir, and they're going to get some companions down there and make one last ride.
And reflecting on it, I think that's the wiser choice because let's imagine they did reinforcement as Tirith. We were a moment ago saying, well, if you time it out, Shadow probably can get military victory within, let's say, 2 turns. If Minas Tirith gets reinforced, does that extend things any longer than like one more round at best? And then you have to start to ask yourself, well, can free people dunk in, you know, 3 to 4 rounds from now? And I think the answer to that is no. So I don't think you can put all your eggs in that basket.
I think one thing I just want to put out is Saved by Him is taking their time and thinking. Free People just did something unexpected that once again changes the nature of the game. And rather than just, mechanically doing their moves, they're thinking about the best thing to do
Yep.
and probably going to become something better than I could.
I was eliminated from this very tournament that we are watching right now, which I'll remind all the people tuning in just now is the final games of the World Tournament. Huge. Um, but yeah, I was eliminated, and as I try to do when I lose, I went back and watched the loss, and the very last move that I made, I did not think for long enough and made a dumb mistake where I could have won instead of lost, and it haunts me.
Yeah, that's the brutal stuff.
You do better at this game when you think.
You can always try and be better, but it's a very interesting cross of being efficient and really precise,
Yeah,
but also creative. Um,
yeah, yeah.
and that's there's so much room for different play styles here.
Absolutely. I've
That's
played
what
this game
games great.
hundreds of times. I've probably watched it played hundreds more. I'm still seeing new games. It's got such a fun, imaginative way of creating interesting new board states. You know what actually really creates interesting board states in War of the Ring?
Yeah.
Warriors of Middle Earth.
Well, if you're gonna do that, I gotta advertise Kings of Middle Earth because it
Do
is it
it.
is truly a great experience. I
Plug
I
your
hope
jam.
we'll get it on Java someday because Kings is really great. There's all these sovereigns, and some games Theoden gets corrupted round one, and he's done. And Shadow can muster in Helm's Deep. And other games, he goes on and he murders a million orcs. So it's a great time.
I'll tell you, it's such a silly nitpick. But the one thing that bothers me about Kings is that oh wait, we got a play going on here. Okay, so we're reinforcing Minas Tirith to make it harder for Wei to do that play. Okay. While simultaneously making it harder to attack Umbar. So Saved by Him has maneuvered such that anything Wei would maybe want to do with that army is now harder to do.
Right into Plargir, no hesitation. That's yeah. I don't think it was ever Wei's plan to go for Minister.
Yeah. Bob in chat says that Wome has too much forgettable bloat. Bob, my guy, you're gonna get a ban. You gotta be careful. You're gonna get a ban from the chat, man. It's dangerous. I'm kidding, of course. No one's getting banned. Shoring up Umbar now. Trying to remove. Oh, maybe not.
I think we're going to see more mustering in Gondor, and then Wei is going to continue to move once a turn, and next turn they're going to there and back again into Pelargir with completely abandoning the Fellowship.
Try to crack Umbar. Yeah,
Well, the nice thing about having a big army there with companions is they could go to Umbar or Mordor.
that's true. That's very true. Oh, we just put another elite in Pelargir. Okay. It's patient.
Mouseable
Interesting.
search is definitely annoying for Fellowship.
Very annoying.
Yeah, Bob, it's a really good army, and the only thing it's missing is leadership. Um, so we'll see if he can get some there.
I really liked what you said that Minas Morgul is about as valid a target as Umbar.
Yeah, or even Barad-dûr, honestly. It's
Right.
not the path isn't crystal clear from where we're standing right now, but the game will change as the rounds go on.
What brilliant play from both of these players. This has been an absolutely amazing game so far.
This matchup, especially with Saved by Him as Shadow and Way as Free People, was something I was probably most looking forward to.
Right.
Uh, this this is crazy stuff.
I think when you first play this game, you think to yourself, well, it's a good thing I can destroy the ring because Free People just doesn't have any armies. Free People is so weak. And then you watch someone like Wei play, and they seem to conjure armies from thin air. They just arise out of nowhere, and wonder, think, where did that come from? And then when you play against that, you think, well, geez, this is terrible. What do I do? And then you watch someone like Saved by Him, and you have this masterful defense. It's just, I don't know. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, they're both playing it very well, and you know, ultimately, I mean, this is what happens when you have very good play. It may come down to luck. It may just come down to who gets the right rolls when they need them. Not because this game is a game that is a coin flip, but because they are just both playing very well, and it's those fine margins that matter.
Right. So what's interesting, we're still moving Nazgul around from the Nazgul search. We played it so that, we reveal Frodo, that's always good, but also it actually makes it harder to get companions down to Pelargir, also good. But now, Savedbyhim gets to decide where all these Nazgul go, and he decided that he wanted the Witch King in Umbar. Now that is surprising to me. I'm not very sure why. Um,
Oh, there's Fear Fire Foes. That's huge for free people.
yeah, definitely.
I think they're gonna try and fight that army, or at least use that army to retake strongholds. So if they put musters into Umbar and they confront that army, then they can. That's gonna be tough. I don't know, but where else would you put them? It almost feels like putting them somewhere like Helm's Deep is just useless. You know?
Yeah, I think Saved by Him might still be trying to kind of make sure this gets shut down. So I suppose that does make a degree of sense. That is every muster in the world,
Pretty good role for Shadow, to be honest. No
for
progress on
sure.
military. That's okay.
Way says
Save him. Not
maybe
want
you
that.
want that. Saved by Him just no.
Oh yeah, no. Shadow does not want this because free people can now attack into Wester Rondor and just do a bunch of attacks in the Mordor. Fear
Yeah.
Fire Foes is interesting because now there and back again can't quite reach Polar Gear, but free people might want to play Fear Fire Foes anyway. So it basically gives them another move.
Yeah, you can use one Palantir to play there and back again, and then a second Palantir to play Fearfire Foes, and that's all your companions moved with dice that you didn't really want to do anything else with anyway.
Bob brings up Musterings of Long Planned War. Yeah, we have not seen that card, so that could be really important for the free people eventual attack on Mordor that is probably coming.
We also haven't seen the King is revealed, which is another Mordor muster.
We have.
Oh, we have?
Sorry to interrupt, but Saved by
Yeah.
Him played it for effect a
Ah,
couple turns ago, and they got a little bit more armies to reinforce Gondor.
then that's not coming.
Look at the power of military victory to hold off shadow advances, though, because if you see Helm's Deep and Minas Tirith, both of them just have one regular inside, but Shadow just cannot afford to
True.
spend the dice on them right now.
Cannot afford or just doesn't feel the pressure to. What's the worst that can
Sure.
happen in Minas Tirith is Guards of the Citadel. What's the worst that can happen in Helm's Deep is like pretty much nothing. So what's the rush?
Way's thinking here, probably about which cards to play and what order. I suspect there and back again into Fear Fire Foes is what's going to happen. No,
Fear
just Fear
Fire
Fire
Foes
Foes
first.
and then
Okay. Saved by Him. I regretted playing Lure as soon as I played it. Yeah, because you kind of just put a Hobbit onto the map for free.
the
There are a
North is.
lot. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go right ahead.
There are a lot of Shadow Corruption cards that are sort of trap like. I think the worst among them being Breaking of the Fellowship, where you imagine you're going to do all this corruption damage, and then all you end up really doing is helping free people separate companions. It can be kind of sneaky to figure out how to use those cards to the best effect.
Yeah, that card can be devastating, but it can also be devastating for Shadow.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, what
Now,
were you about to say?
well, I want to bring back a few turns ago. It was asked, how is Free People getting to 4 points? And it really wasn't clear at the time to me. And again, I think it's possible Way didn't even know for sure. But now with Fear Fire Foes, they have an army in Pelargir. They can target Dol Guldur, Mount Gundabad, Umbar, all of Mordor, and maybe even Moria, with just some mustering. And Shadow has a lot of musters, but they can't muster everywhere at once.
I see what you're saying. I don't fully disagree. I don't know if Dogoldur is that much of a target. Uh, Maybe the North musters faster than I think it can. Um, I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
it's
We'll
gonna
see.
take time. The only thing is just Shadow cannot win a military victory right now. They just don't have the dice for it. So Free
Right.
People has they could just spend 3 musters this turn. That could be 3 elites and Carrick. It could also be split between Carrick and Pelargir.
But the problem is wherever they do that, Shadow can respond, and Shadow also has all the mustering in the world to respond with.
That's true. It's it's a tricky game. But if Shadow invests all of their like let's say Free People musters in Carrick. If Shadow invests a bunch of elites into Mount Gundabad, well Carrick can just go to Dol Guldur.
True. Yeah.
Or
And
Pelargir.
Wei is tipping his hand to us, the viewers, as to what's on his mind right now. He's checking how many elites does Shadow actually have. Turns out the answer to that is three Sauron elites, one Sauron.
and and zero Sauron regulars.
Right. Yeah. Which makes it rather difficult to defend something like Mordor, depending.
Very difficult. Um, and you know, this is part of the consequence of taking out Orthanc so early. Shadow has not been able to use Orthanc, the Isengard force pool, very effectively, and because of that, they've been leaning more on mustering Sauron and Southron units everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and there's only so many of them.
It's being asked, where are all the Sauron regulars? Well, uh, pretty much everywhere. You'd be hard pressed to find a region of the map that does not have Sauron regulars in it at this time
They
of
really
day.
like rivers, I've noticed.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, Shire. Bree and the Shire.
That makes sense. I mean, if
Yeah.
that allows them to through Dana Night, they could meet up in Buckland and then through Dana Night to Edmoors, perhaps.
Yep. I like that. That's a lovely play. That is a really nice sequence.
Or they could go to Moria.
A little harder to pull that off, but doable, I think. Yeah.
The only thing with Moria that you got to keep in mind is, let's say Lorien tries to smack down Moria. Okay, then Lorien breaks out and takes Togulter.
Yeah. So a while ago, I was saying that Wei might realize that a military victory is kind of off the table and just try to destroy the ring. And this is why Wei is fourth on the leaderboard and I'm not. Wei is keeping his options open.
I want to be fair to you in that I think Wei is kind of like they are the one who plays like this. I think many good players would focus on destroying the ring, but
Well,
um,
it turns out we're playing wrong.
yeah, maybe. I mean, I've started thinking that way. The more time has gone on, the more I view Free People military victory as maybe sometimes the better path.
There's a pretty significant negative to it, which is gosh, you have to think so hard. It's just so hard. Do you have any idea how easy it is to spider sprint? We can all do it.
It really it and sometimes I'm gonna be honest, there are times where I join a game to play and I know that I have a role that I could do an Aragorn game, but I just want to get done in an hour.
Yeah, I hear you. It's one of the things that can make this game a little bit challenging to like get to the table to play it. Is you know, you could be sitting down for a nice little 90-minute affair, or you could be looking at a 4-hour slog, and there is no way to know when the game begins. But
It's always the most dangerous thing for me is always starting a second game, especially,
ah,
you play one game and it's a really quick game. You're done in an hour. You had a great time. Everybody, it was a close game, but it was fun and it was quick. And you're like, well, we have enough time for another game. And that's when the
that's
slog game happens.
where they get you. Now, I don't mean to use the word slog pejoratively. I have had very few 4-hour games of War of the Ring that I have not enjoyed. I will say that.
They are always fun, just exhausting.
Yeah. We're moving Nazgul again, by the way, is what's happening right now. We're deciding where the Ringmaster brought Nazgul going to go. And interestingly, the Witch King now has left Umbar and landed in Minas Tirith. So maybe we are finally going to take that one off the board. Could be about time.
The guards of the Citadel at last will fall.
Yeah. Amazing how long that stronghold has sat like that, though.
There goes my
Man.
strings. I guess for Shadow, they just don't have any Sauron regulars.
Yeah, well, I mean, it pulls from Southrons as well, but yeah, right now it doesn't. It only works half as well as it's supposed to.
So the only card now left to reinforce Shadow Strongholds, besides the three forward mustering cards, is Pits of Mordor.
Right. Okay, Fellowship hides. And if we are going to play the there and back again strat, we do need to be one step further along with the Fellowship.
I'm not sure if they will at this point, simply because they already have an army with a companion up in the north. But Way has proven me
Well,
wrong several times already.
we've had one army with a companion, yes, but what about second army with a companion?
Yeah, that is more deadly. Oh, yeah, the ideal situation for free people right now would be somehow having big armies with companions in Pelargir and Ettenmoors. Um, and I don't know how Shadow defends everything if that's the case.
I think that may be, Saved by Him has taken fairly long pauses to think. And I think perhaps the reason why is because he knows just how important it is for him to predict somewhat accurately what Way is trying to do. Because if you just kind of like say, oh, I'll react to it when I see it, well, by then it's going to be too late.
Yeah, and it's so hard because free people can change their plan based
Yeah.
off what happens. Oh, and Helm's Deep went horribly for Shadow.
Yeah,
It
that's
can press though.
rough. Yeah.
Um, it was asked in the chat if Orcs multiplying again has been played. I do not believe it has.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nor, I believe, has Shadows on the Misty Mountains. So those two cards, which are relevant to the Northwest, are still on the table.
Do you know what? We said that Pits of Mordor could defend, but it can't because it musters regulars, and there are none. Well, there's one now, but point
Yeah, it
stands.
would only work after Shadow has already lost some regulars, so Shadow needs to recycle some regulars somehow. They kind of want to do that anyway. Like, if I'm Shadow, I want to grind up my guys.
Okay, so Free People did get hit on the hunt, but not revealed. So, it's nice. Do you take the casualty here? I don't think so personally. You need those
If you're
companions for
seriously
war.
seeking,
Hmm?
yeah, if you're seriously seeking a military victory, I don't think you take a casualty.
Right.
Um,
Even if you're not seeking military
oh,
victory,
random. There you go.
I wonder why. Well, that's lucky.
If you get lucky and you get Mary.
Yeah, but then where do you send him?
uh, Fangorn?
I don't really get that because I feel like even if you are trying to protect against corruption, there's plenty of tiles in the pool still, and Candles of Corpses has already been played, so you don't need to get to Gollum to protect against that. I don't know.
Has Riders of Theoden been played?
No, it has not.
Okay. So I would send him to Rohan, I think.
Sure, but it has to be Fords then in that case, right? It doesn't work like in
Can't
Westonnet.
quite reach forwards. Um, so I guess he could be an Eastham and just wait for that orc to move.
But rules wise, if you send Mary to Westonnet, is Riders of Theoden playable?
I do not believe so.
I don't think
So the
so
only
either.
reason he would go to Western is to eventually go to Ford's Horizon.
Yeah. And at that point, that play is so painfully transparent that I think Saved by Him just blocks it anyway.
Now, that is true, but picture a scenario in the future where Free People is moving companions for some other reason. They're moving Gandalf somewhere. And then they just slide Mary over one region.
Sure. This is it's very cute, but okay, so okay, you do that, and it's in a scenario where Shadow absolutely must respond to something else, and so they can't block it. So you play Riders, that's fantastic, and now you have an elite in Fords, and now what?
Yeah, it is a little bit. I guess Fangorn can do the same thing just as well as Western Net.
Yeah, yeah.
And now, if you want, you can play end cards. I don't know for what purpose you would need to, but it's there.
An elite in North Dunland.
Isengard Elite in North Dunland. I think that's a great move by Saved by Him. That's the only force pool you still have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of.
And it helps you defend Moria in case the Shirelings start to head down that way. I'm
He's playing
amazed that.
Athaloth.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, that was surprising.
Wow.
Maybe they'll go for the ring dunk after all. Who's to say?
Yeah, we're starting to see the sacrifice of a lot of tools that would be pretty helpful for a potential military comeback.
On the flip side, Aragorn is currently trapped, and I don't know if he'll ever see the light of day again. I think he might just be stuffed in the Tower of Orthanc for the rest of the game. So, in that case, even if you are going for military victory, maybe Athelos is just not useful for that.
Saved by Him quotes that the hands of the king are the hands of a healer, which is one of my favorite quotes from the book. Somewhat less known because it's not in the movies.
That's a great quote.
It is a good quote.
Odinus is pointing out the rare four two cities victory for free people. It could happen. It's not often
Yeah,
in this game.
technically it could happen. There's a reason you don't see it very much. It is just really, really hard to actually take and hold Farharad. Um, to the point of kind of ridiculousness. I can't think of any time I've seen a military victory from Free People where they got the two Shadow Cities. Maybe once, but it's tough.
I have a recorded video of it.
Send it to me, please.
That one ends with Círdan's ships going to Arnor.
Love it. That's where you have to kind of like really squint to see if water touches that square of the map.
It's easier with the physical board to see
Right.
that. So there's that. But I agree with you, but I do think that the threat of two cities can sometimes make it easier to take a stronghold. So it is. I've seen it be relevant every now and again.
Yeah.
I doubt we will, but it would be pretty cool.
Do you know what I'm certain I've never seen? Never even one time in all the games of War of the Ring I've seen. I have never, ever, ever once seen a unit of any kind in Forlondon.
I'm racking my brain to try and figure out if I've seen that. I swear I've seen it once, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I've played a lot of the new cities games where Luvine
Hmm.
is a city, and that makes it more likely.
I suppose.
But yeah, that is the geography of Greyhaven. So this is a side tangent, but the geography of the whole Eriador area is actually incredibly favored to the Shadow player. It just doesn't come up very often because I mean, there's just not a lot of fights there.
Is
But
that
if it
right?
does, it's just so impossible to defend both Shire and Grey Havens,
Mm-hmm.
even with like equivalent sized armies.
It's something that bothers me a little bit about the city's expansion is that I say city's expansion. It's kind of a house rule that we sometimes play with. Shadow gets this city that really changes how they can think about victory points. Right, Ered Luin becomes a point for them, and that's huge. And Free People gets what out of this? They get South Rune. Well, okay, I don't know when that's going to come up.
I've never seen Southruin even come close to coming up.
Yeah,
If
I
anyone has, please bring it up. That would be cool to hear about.
I think that the city's mini expansion should have like a different place that becomes a city, somewhere where like free people could maybe take it.
So what would be your recommendation?
Oh, I wouldn't fire one off so flippantly. But like, what about even Eastern? Why not Eastern? But then you start to have to
It's a little
shove
closer.
in weird stuff. I wouldn't want Eastern to be a mustering point for Shadow. So
What about Northrun?
yeah, it'd be better than South for sure.
Or maybe Nirn?
Actually, I could see that. I kind of like Nern. It's interesting. Um,
And as we talk about fantasies, um, the Shadow player just played Rage of the Dunlendings, and they're going
yep.
for Rivendell.
Which we always kind of said was on Shadow's docket. We've been expecting Rivendell to come under attack for quite some time. And now Wei is doing the merge up that we also suggested might be happening, where Shire and Bree meet up in Buckland. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not yet. That is a. I still really like that play though because of through a day and a night. You can get a lot of good places that way. And you really want to be set up for the possibility that something horrible happens to Shadow. You know, they roll all Palantir, and now they're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Free People had that one roll early where Shadow had a terrible roll, and since then Shadow has had pretty good rolls.
Yeah.
Um, so they're just waiting. Yeah, I agree. Frodo might be able to dunk. It would take it would take those northern armies defending Rivendell. That's probably what would have to happen. I think like the military effort would have to go towards defending.
Right. I think you're right. The longer this game has gone on, this is very very typical. The longer the game has gone on, the longer it is taking these players to play each of their dice as they carefully weigh what what repercussions will follow. Shadow is moving is very very powerful here.
Yeah, great card and great play by Savedbyhim in Gondor because that really seals off the Free People ability to go for a military victory. It seems really difficult for them to break out without getting mauled. And you can also notice Saved by Him leave behind a regular in Holland. This is very important to prevent throwing a day and a night into that region
Hmm.
at a later date, maybe from Buckland.
Free people running pretty low on strategy cards in their deck, which means as Shadow, you start to have a very good idea of exactly which cards Free People likely has in their hand.
That's interesting, isn't it? Um, yeah, they have to figure they have something like Through a Day and a Night.
Yeah.
They have to figure that, Riders the Theoden could be out there.
It becomes less of an abstract defensive posture and more of a, statistical likelihood that they have the card. Because you know that if they drew it, they kept it. So, you know.
Kind of the opposite of that A New Powers Rising thing you were talking about earlier in the game.
Right. Right. Yes. Yeah, it's the same thing about cruel weather. When we talk about cruel weather, you can really discount things like Shadow's discards from their hand or what have you, because it's one of those cards that is so powerful that if the player has drawn it, they will have kept it, and so you just kind of need to look at what are the odds that they have it.
Hey, I would give maybe 10% odds that Cruel Weather was chucked this game.
Sure,
Not high,
that's
but it's
fair.
possible.
Yeah. All right, so that was the last Elven Elite in Rivendell. No more Elven Elites, and I think only one regular, if I recall.
I think that regular was used for a downgrade in the Moria combat earlier.
Right? Doesn't that leave one more regular in the Force Pool?
I think they mustered that guy in Rivendell.
Oh,
I think
you
that
are
was
right.
Omar.
No, you are right. Yeah. Okay, so no more elves. That's it for elves.
Now, if I think that's Pippin is able to come over and reinforce Rivendell, Rivendell could hold forever. But we'll see how that plays out and if Wei even wants to try that.
I think if that's going to happen, if you can merge that army up, at that point maybe it's time to try to grab your second stronghold.
Yeah, it's kind of an either or situation. I don't think you can liberate Rivendell and take another stronghold
I would agree with
with
that.
that.
As is their custom, the dwarves are unaware that a battle is going on. Oh, here goes Gimli.
Oh, there's Bear. They're back again. I said it was going to happen for like 5 turns in a row, so I guess a broken clock is right twice a day.
I think I think we should give you a little more credit. It's just that I think Wei has had that idea for as about as long as you've been saying it. It's just that he has had a lot of patience on the execution, um, and finally felt that it was time. It,
Interestingly, Gimli might have been able to go to Erebor, and set up for Bokum Zarbal and get the dwarves involved. Um, but they chose not to.
I mean, that's talking about a hypothetical future army that you could build. Right now, Gimli is with an army that exists.
You have a real army, yeah.
Yeah. Granted, it's surrounded by unfriendly friends, but I don't know. A big army in Erebor is still just kind of in Erebor, so
Yeah, and I think if you get the dwarves to war too early, that gives Shadow the mouth.
also true.
So that is a factor.
Yeah, we should not discount the tremendous dice advantage that Free People has had in this game. 6 to 8 for so long now.
It is the reason that Free People has been able to hold out for so long, despite not really doing anything for their defenses.
I love that they're still talking to each other in chat like this. Everyone seems to be having a good time. It's good to remember that's why we play the game. I'm sure they both
Yeah,
really want to win.
very. Oh, absolutely.
More Nazgul motion. Keep the
Shadow
Fellowship
moves on
busy.
to the Fellowship to prevent them running into Mordor. And free people could run into Mordor. They have There Is Another Way. They could do it if they really wanted.
Free People has a thing of progress banked, so I see. Yeah. Do we think they go for Mordor this turn? Is that the play? It must be actually.
I think I think they probably do not. I think that is just my read on how Way plays the game. But um, I think that it is something to worth considering here.
It is, to use the math we discussed earlier, it is a 50-50 coin flip whether or not Shadow has Cruel Weather right now. Um, the hunt
Sure.
pool is
But
relatively
if you don't get
friendly.
revealed, well, remember you have Gollum, so you can choose to reveal to most tiles
Yeah.
on the second move. And so you'll know because they'll cool weather you after the next move. So you'll know then if it's worth it to go for Mordor or not.
Yeah. I think as free people you got to be worried about running out of time. The military story for Shadow is tightening quickly.
Where is Shadow's 10? So I think they can't take Lorien. I think they can take Rivendell, but I mean it's kind of on a knife's edge. If it goes poorly for them, it might need to be reinforced.
I
But let's
I think
take
Shadow
Rivendell.
is more favored than that in Rivendell.
I Yeah, there's no leadership for free people, so that's a good point. So let's say they take Rivendell, they have Helm's Deep, they have Minas Tirith, and they have Edoras. 7 points. They need Woodland Realm and Dale. That is possible. I How many turns is that? I'm not sure. Maybe still two. It might be 2 turns. It depends how Rivendell goes.
Yeah, I actually think that Woodland Realm is the somewhat more likely holdout. That's one that to me looks like it could go either way. Um,
Yeah, I mean the fact they can reinforce it, it's just a matter of dice. It's a matter of how many dice Shadow can invest into this, and in the meantime, they have to not lose a military victory. Um,
yeah,
so
I don't think that's
yeah,
gonna happen anymore though. I think the only military you really yeah, I don't know, maybe
Gimli, Pelargir. It's worth noting. I believe that's a 4-3,
yes it
so
is.
that could break out.
Would you look at
I
that?
think Yeah, there's another way. That makes sense. So they play this now. If they hope to not get revealed, they get missed, which is very
Uh-huh.
nice for free people. If Shadow plays Cruel Weather now, then that gives free people information. If Shadow does not play Cruel Weather now, free people can just reveal in on their next move.
At the cost of an additional tile. Saved by him not playing Cruel Weather. Oleg High. Interesting. Okay. So Savedbyhim agrees with you. Wants more insurance in Woodland Realm.
I think that pretty much guarantees Rivendell.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant Rivendell. I said Woodland Realm.
Wow, getting missed again.
Whew.
So is
No
this some
way.
crazy bluff? And they have
No.
Cruel Weather? No, they're
Uh,
using their character.
yeah, I think that would be crazy. What if they have it and they're trying to bait out a ring? That'd be five-dimensional chess.
Reinforcements to North Rune. That's going to to Woodland Realm eventually.
Uh-huh.
And now we have an army over in Buckland.
All right, we got that last character die. Rivendell makes sense.
No cruel weather.
This, by the way, is another reason why this military strategy is like obviously underrepresented from where it should be. Because even with this military strategy and what it's done, there's still a very real possibility that the ring gets destroyed. You know?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, and that's one of the opportunities. Oh, and Splat goes, Rivendell is gone.
Yeah, yeah.
That's part of the benefit of going military is it gives you a lot of time. But with Rivendell gone, it's only Woodland Realm left, and I know
Yep.
Woodland Realm is well defended, but there's a lot of shadow
Well,
units nearby.
yeah, it's not that well defended, right? You're gonna have to start probably mustering elites in Dale, I should imagine.
If the game might end next turn
Uh-huh.
if either to a good roll and Free People just rushes down a stronghold, or Shadow is able to take out Woodland Realm. I the game might be drawing to a close sooner than you'd think.
Uh, we do need to consider can free people retake any points? Maybe. You know, Minas Tirith, possibly.
It's a good point. They did just pick up Mighty Attack, which is very nice for Free People to have. I wonder how many red tiles were thrown away by Shadow. I do not
Yeah.
believe Free People has seen any blue tiles, which is kind of nuts.
I think this is a relatively friendly hunt pool as they go.
Oh, with Gollum, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gollum, corruption wise, Gollum's gonna be fine, I think. I I don't think Corsairs or Return to Valinor have been used. So there are two
No, they
deadly
have
strikes.
not. Yeah. Was Horde from the East played? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty early on.
Okay.
That is a really interesting roll. So that is a roll. Oh my
No
gosh, that's
way. No way. Oh boy.
Free People could run up the mountain, or they could try and take a stronghold. I think
So
they
running
probably just run.
no, I come on. That's never the right call, right? Like you're not going to hit any eyes. Is that the plan? Or reds?
Yeah, it's tough. Can Shadow win this turn?
Yeah, well, maybe, but only maybe.
No.
Oh, that can't be.
The last battle.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that. It
That
actually makes
can't
sense. It
that
actually makes sense.
so this is it. That was chips on the table, all in. We are going to try to run up the mountain and not get seen. With the last battle making the hunt pool dramatically safer. A card that you never see played for its event. It's so vanishingly rare to see it played because it is so hard for it to be useful. This is exactly the case where it can matter. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and those eyes are the only scary thing in the hunt pool, and we're just making sure that they don't aren't that scary.
Now, The odds of pulling 5 tiles and none of them is an eye or a red, I think I won't do the math. I think they're quite low. You're probably gonna hit one eye, at which point you do not win this turn. But you do sort of have an out because Shadow might not take Woodland Realm. I think
Let's
Save
count
by
attacks,
Him.
right?
What's that?
Let's count attacks. So
Mm-hmm.
Shadow should move leadership. They do not have Ring Racer Abroad or Black Captain commands. We know that those are gone.
Right.
We know Grand is gone. So there is no fancy way to take down Woodland Realm, except for
Yeah.
maybe fighting or no, fighting
No,
Urgai
fighting
can't
your
be
guy's
played
not playable. Yeah.
because Saruman. So there's no fancy way of taking down Woodland Realm. Shadow has to move leadership with their character die. They then have one, two, three attacks. If you count it out, if Shadow does not have a ring, they are unable to reinforce Woodland Realm and attack it and move leadership. So they have to take Woodland Realm with just the armies that they have in Woodland Realm currently, the 5-1.
Now, have we seen Shadows Gather?
That changes things. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Um,
I don't
Shadows
remember
Gather
it.
would be the perfect card, right? Is that the three?
That's the
If
three,
they can
yeah.
get, yeah, they can get to Vale Karnan. They can Shadows Gather in. They can attack. Then they can attack Dale for the win.
Wow.
I don't know if Free People has that. Shadow
Okay,
has that.
chat is saying that Shadows Gather was already played.
Okay. Then if Shadows Gather was already played, I don't think there is a way for Shadow to reinforce Woodland Realm and attack Woodland Realm this turn.
Well, it is like razor's edge thin whether or not it is enough units to take both Woodland Realm and Dale. But that having been said, for this Fellowship Rush strategy to really pay off, like, well, now wait a minute. Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait.
If Shadow doesn't win this turn though, and Free People gets like three good moves in, and
Exactly. Yeah,
then they
Fellowship
are
doesn't
really
have to
set up.
win right now. Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that Shadow is one attack short. I I might be miscalculating. We can look again. They have four attacks. One of those is to move leadership, so they have three attacks. They do not have enough to reinforce and take Woodland Realm.
Um.
So they have to rely on that 5-1 to take out a 1-2-1. I've seen it done.
One, two.
It's not super likely though.
You can play.
I do
Um.
not believe that Shadow Lengthen works. Although okay, Shadow Lengthens could allow a reinforcement of an elite and a regular from Dol Guldur. You use the muster to muster an elite in Dol Guldur, and then you move to Narrows of the Forest and Vale of Karnan, and then you Shadow Lengthens into Woodland Realm, and that gives you a respectable 6-2 to take out Woodland Realm. And then, yeah, so that could work.
I'm trying to figure a way to get more troops there. It is so difficult.
There could also be like, um, I think Half Orcs and Gobblemen has not been played. I think the other two reinforcement cards have.
I wish I had a better. Part of it is it's getting late over here, and poor me watching this game. It's hard to think. I can't imagine what it must be like to be playing it. Uh, you can save on Nazgul movement if you're willing to just onslaught. Are there any? How many onslaughts are left in the deck? Could Save by Him have one of those? Do you know what I mean? Like, there is a world where you actually don't need leadership to take that stronghold if you have the right combat cards. A great host is a free hit. An onslaught is on average 2 hits, and that's
The only
before
thing is,
any
I
any
don't think
sixes.
the saving on leadership actually helps. because they can just like then they can't use their character die.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Mm.
But Bob is pointing out that Woodland Realm can attack Dale, and then Vale of Carnan can be shadow lengthened in that way through Dale.
That's clever.
So if move leadership, attack Dale, that's two of your attacks. Move to Vale of Carnan, and then use the Palantir to shadow lengthens it. Yeah, that could work. Okay, that's how you do it. That's how you win this turn of Shadow. If you have Shadow lengthens.
When does uh when does Woodland Realm get taken?
So you first attack from Woodland Realm to Dale, and you
Right.
take Dale, and then you use an army die to move into Vale of Carden. Then you use a Palantir to move into Woodland Realm, and then you use your last attack to take Woodland Realm.
Ah, I see. Um, Savedbyhim has played. He has played a muster to put an elite in Northrend. Yeah. Not using that muster to get the mouth, by the way, is a probably an accurate acknowledgement of the fact that this ends one way or another right now. Even if the game doesn't actually end on this turn, it effectively does.
Yep. And shout out to Bob Joe Juan for pointing out that that strategy because that's crazy.
Yeah. We've had the first Mordor move, and it was the best possible result. It was a zero reveal. Savedbyhim is wondering why the die did not go into the box. It is because of the last battle, a card that we never see.
Best card in the game.
Sure.
You know, he might eventually hit an eye, but already it saved him one corruption.
I I can't I cannot believe what I'm actually seeing right now. Like an epic military campaign is already more than what you would hope to see in a game. Like, but in a game as important as this one, the fact that Last Battle is also being played and it's coming down to like a nail biter on Mount Doom, crazy stuff.
It's great to see. And
Yeah.
we are seeing, so let's see, if that Bob's plan that he came up with, Shadow could still do at this point. If they have Shadow lengthens.
Yeah.
And I'm
We can't
sure right
assume
now,
that they do. They might not.
yeah, they might not have it, in which case there's no way for Shadow to win this turn. But if they do, I'm guessing that Saved by Him sees it.
Certainly. Oh, for sure.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say certainly in case he doesn't, because this is the tail end of a very long and difficult game, and that's a tricky maneuver.
True. I I believe.
Yeah, I believe too. It might not have Shadow Lengthens. Easily could have been thrown out. Easily, I mean, it could just have not been drawn yet. That's possible too.
We got someone in chat asking why the Fellowship wasn't revealed after that last draw. It's because Gollum is the guide, and when Gollum is the guide, ordinary tiles that would reveal you actually don't. The only exceptions are eyes and red tiles.
And a good move too to move Osgiliath to Minas Tirith, just shutting down the possibility of free people retaking points.
Well, right, because if they do hit an eye, they're going to have to abort out of this strategy and do something else with those character dice, right? Well, I guess that's
Yeah,
not really right.
exactly.
They could just keep running.
Well, and once it becomes clear that Shadow has the ability to get to 10, if they do, then Free People has to respond.
It depends. They don't if they think that they can reach the cracks of doom just by
They
sprinting.
can run up the mountain in one turn. Well, they're
Ex-
already not doing that.
okay, yeah, that's probably wise because it's extremely unlikely to work. Though, what are we
So
doing moving
now,
companions?
remember when we
I
talked about
I
Riders of Theoden?
Biz, I do remember. I was there when you said it. I remember, if I recall, I was none too hot on the idea. I believe I said it was silly. Go ahead and tell me what seems to be happening.
Well, I definitely didn't anticipate this. But now, I mean, even with that Shadow Lengthens play, um, on there, just move into the Lamroth to cover it. The Shadow just does not have the dice to cover up Ford's of Eisen. So now, free people can use Riders of Theoden in Fords of Eisen, then just walk into Westonet and attack in a fight they are very likely to win in Edoras.
Oh my
And
good
Shadow just
god.
does not have the dice to stop that and do their Woodland Realm plan.
Is it true that that step from Fangorn to Fords of Eisen is almost sure to stall this game out another turn?
I, it is possible to lose that battle. No, they have a mighty attack. It's impossible to lose that battle. So yes, it will certainly. Now, if Shadow does not have Shadow Lengthens, this doesn't matter. But Shadow has seen most of the deck, and so it is a fair bet by free people to assume that Shadow has Shadow Lengthens.
A 2 out of 3, right?
That's true. Second Shadow Lengthens could move one regular to Edoras, so that would make it 2 HP versus 2 HP. That would be tight.
Though there is a mighty attack, as you said.
Oh, no, no, no. They have 6 regulars in Helm's Deep. Never mind. That wouldn't work. So they
Well,
can just move 3 regulars. Okay, never mind. It would have been cool. I couldn't see on the map that there were 6 regulars in Helm's Deep. But they are now attacking from Vale of Karnan.
fusion. This is what it's for. It's a hit. Wow. Dale survives and gets a hit back. That's quite nice. Now, do you just stay here? Yeah, I think you just stay. You play your other
Yeah,
confusion, in fact.
no, it was very hard to see. That looked like a 1 in Helm's Deep. If it was 1 regular in Helm's Deep, that would have been a very different game.
I wonder why Wei isn't playing the other confusion here. Oh, maybe because, well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is against less dice, fewer dice. Wow, this is a fight. After all the sixes in combat we've had this game, this is just like folks slapping each other. Okay, there's Theoden. And here is where we're gonna have to find out if Savedbyhim has Shadow Lengthens.
That is the big question.
He hasn't played it yet. if he has it, Shadow pretty much wins, barring some extreme luck in Woodland Realm.
6-3? Yeah, it's pretty likely.
Yeah,
Um,
but
he could have discarded it.
I think he's got it. There it is.
There it is. Okay. I think Saved by Him is gonna win this game.
Well, he does still have to crack a stronghold, and I have seen crazier things than for a stronghold to hold out against something like this. So the shape we're probably in is that Wei pivots again. Wei probably doesn't use those character dice to attack Edoras anymore. Now he probably uses them to move up the mountain, so that if Woodland Realm happens to manage to hold on somehow, he can dunk next turn.
Maybe you attack Edoras anyway. Just mighty attack into Brave Stand.
Against three regulars, four regulars.
Yeah, odds are stacking.
But I see your
Forced.
point, and he does have a confusion in hand. It really
I
just
think
depends
four.
on where you think your odds are best, right?
I think with four it's too much. And three guys in Helm's Deep makes it not even theoretically possible to retake.
Yeah, Helm's Deep is completely off the table. Yeah, he just got Wei just kind of has an awful choice now. You either have to move up the mountain and hope that Within Realm holds, or you have to attack Edoras and hope that you win a very unlikely fight. Either way, odds are very thin, but not zero.
It's it's possible you could try. You have two companion cards that aren't going to do you any good in Woodland Realm.
Yeah, and confusion is a major wild card. You know, like you don't know how many ones Shadow's gonna roll. There's all sorts of weird
That's
nonsense that can
true, but
happen.
I'd prefer to save it for Woodland Realm if it was up to me.
But if you win Edoras, you don't have to win Woodland Realm.
Yes, but you can use confusion on the defense in Woodland Realm, and then if Shadow gets that bad roll, then it can really hurt the Siege of Woodland Realm.
That makes sense to me. I just think that if I was going to do that, I would probably spend my character dice on moving the Fellowship instead of attacking Edoras.
Yeah, I I think yeah, it's a bit of a corner here. It's possible you could have broken out of Helm's Deep maybe, and tried something from there.
There's a thought.
Um, if you had devoted more dice to that
Yeah,
earlier in the round. That's hard to see. You also maybe could have mustered a leader in Carrick so that you could fight for Dale. But I think basically Wei just needed Shadow to not have Shadow lengthens. And unfortunately for Wei they did.
right, right. People in chat weighing in on opinions on Way's best course of action. I think everyone can see that Saved by Him is overwhelmingly favored right now, but those it's those little chances that you got to be curious about. Wei says he did not see that, so he forgot about the possibility of Shadow Lengthens, which, as you said, it's a long game. He certainly knows that card exists, right? It's just that there are so many possibilities in this game, and you try to account for everything you can, but even the very best players, sometimes you miss it, and it changes how you plan.
And it was just incredibly well executed by him to
Right.
play that out exactly. Like leaving the guys in Helm's Deep exactly as they need to be, so that even if, like, without some crazy confusion nonsense, free people can only get one hit per round, and there's 2 rounds. So 3 regulars guarantees Helm's Deep holds, and then 4 regulars makes Edoras very, very likely to hold. Someone is saying it would have been better to muster in Dale. Yeah, maybe. Dale muster might have killed some of those elites, which would be nice.
Might have. It's hard to say.
I don't have a calculator in front of
Yeah.
me, but I think I would say Woodland Realm has
Okay.
probably an over 80% chance of falling.
We're going for Edoras. That's the play. We'll probably move some leadership in there because why not?
Yeah, with some Nazgul and Edoras, it's just going to be so tough
Yeah.
for free people to actually take that.
Yeah, I do wonder if at this point if we're splitting probabilities, maybe it's better to just move up the mountain because you're already hoping for the freak accident where Within Realm holds. Do we need to? I don't know.
Moving here is probably right. Um, there's so many cards that ruin your ability to take Edoras. Like a Foul Stench or a Words of Power when you're trying to have Mighty Attack
Yeah.
is just, or Dread and Despair. God forbid they have Dread and Despair. Well, Dread and Despair wouldn't actually matter for Edoras. They only have one guy.
What a game. Look at all the shadow units blasted all over the map. I This is like maybe the highest density of shadow units spread across everything that I've seen. Maybe that's bad use of density. It's like they're everywhere.
They're spreading.
Yeah. Shadow
Yeah,
units
it's
behave as a
interesting.
gas.
I think the Free People military victory was not far off. Um, in either Polar Gear or with Pippin, but it maybe was one turn off, and you can't tie if you get 4 at the same time as Shadow gets 10.
Yeah.
And
We're
what a
waiting on.
crazy
Go ahead.
what a crazy game by Shadow to see what was happening in Orthanc early and just accept that you're giving it up and that
Yeah.
you're gonna just
Okay. We're attacking
here you
Edoras.
go,
We
Edoras.
are playing confusion. We are hoping for the miracle.
Way says gotta gamble. Look, if the miracle happens, they could retake Helm's Deep with some musters next turn.
We'll see. Let's see where we're at.
But I mean, the odds are not high.
Okay, that's a
Way gets
hit.
6.
That's a hit. Wait. Yeah, okay, yep.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god. No.
No.
No, it. No. I. Wait. There's a. I don't believe it.
Oh my
I don't
god.
believe it. Free people took back Edoras with 3 1s rolled on the confusion.
That's I've never, oh my god.
There are people sleeping in my home right now because it is after midnight, and that is the only reason I'm not screaming into my microphone. What just
I was
happened?
having trouble talking with push to talk because I couldn't believe that.
I so okay. Let's shall we evaluate how the game state has shifted? So now, Saved by Him cannot win this turn. That is now impossible. Saved by Him can proceed to probably take Woodland Realm, as was the case a moment ago, but if he does that and does not respond to the Rohan situation with that die, it opens a door next turn for a way to begin to play around in Helm's Deep. Not a wide door. I think it is still difficult to recover out of that position. You know, but it's possible. Uh and if you, I mean, who knows? Like maybe you roll 6 character dice and you can actually sprint up the mountain. With Last Battle, that also becomes possible. There are a lot of. I still think Saved by Him is favored in this game, but all of the sudden, Wei has options.
And don't forget that army in Orthanc.
Right, right, very true. You have a bit of a downside in the if that army does try to break out of there, you kind of push units back into Rohan, but still. Oh my god. And Saved by Him uses his last muster to get the mouth.
I mean, I
In
think
a
that's completely right. That's
it is a
completely
it is a
right.
beautiful acknowledgement of the fact that the game must continue.
I have never seen anything like that. I'm still in shock.
did did I mention that this is game 1 of the finals of the World Tournament? Holy moly. Wow.
So just to
Oh,
like ground us, I mean, yeah, Aragorn can
this is
Sally.
this is
He's got a
a
9 HP army. He's facing off against an 8 HP army with no leadership. Um, my thinking would be that Shadow. So either you could invest 4 attacks to retake Helm's Deep with Aragorn and probably do it,
uh-huh.
or you could just muster up in Rohan and that army is stuck because of Aragorn.
There's a very interesting rules question in the chat right now, which is does Shadow have to allocate an eye right now?
That is so interesting.
Right? Because Fellowship moved, but no Free People's Die was removed from the box. We're being asked if we know, so I'm checking the almanac. I'm just gonna tell them that. Oh, I can't believe. Okay. I literally don't know. I might have to go and get the rulebook.
So I would pay special note to There Is Another Way because this situation could come up with There Is Another Way.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think the rule is based on if they recovered dice from the hunt box.
I think that as well. Um, I'm just trying to prove it.
And Bob is claiming such as well. And I would trust Bob with my life after that Shadow Lengthens recommendation.
I guess it depends on how long they want to wait. Right now, we think Savedbyhim is also checking the roll. We'll take our time. We can take our time to get this right. We wouldn't want to screw it up now, right? It's a shame we don't have any like products to hawk. Like if we were really good streamers, we'd be selling something. Hey, if you haven't bought it, go out and buy the War of the Ring. It's a board game. It's a lot of fun. I'd recommend it. Okay, rulebook looks pretty clear to me. I don't think you have to allocate.
Yep, that's what it seems to me as well.
If there are no dice in the hut box and I store reveals, that is certainly true.
Yeah, you still draw tiles if there's zero eyes.
Yeah.
Eyes just don't deal any damage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So now Free People's role is going to determine a lot about how this turn is going to go. We got someone in chat saying that the community Discord got them into the game. That's fantastic. We're glad to have you. I don't know who you are, but like, ping me. We'll play. Whoever you are, it'll be great.
That's not enough to dunk.
It is not enough to dunk, but you know what it is enough to do is make some
Go take
problems
Helm's
in
Deep.
Rohan. Yeah. Wow. And unfortunately for Wei, Saved by Him has a pretty fantastic role. They can kind of do anything they want to do. I'm a
They're
little
going to attack out of Orthanc. That makes
mm-hmm.
sense to me.
As you've been saying, I'm a little surprised that Wei played that so quickly. I would imagine he would want to sit with his dice for a while, but he felt it in his soul. This is what he needed to do.
It takes 4 dice to do this. So they have 4 attacks.
Yeah. Are you concerned at all about the fact that that army in Woodland Realm might be enough to crack Woodland Realm, then go crack Erebor, frankly? Oof, Storm of Bats
Is
against the
there
Brave
much you can
Stand.
do about that?
Yeah, maybe not. Pretty good rolls from Wei. Decent. Trash back from Saved by Him. Now, do you hold on top here, or do you fall back to the fords? Falling back to the fords seems to make sense to me. Because as Shadow, you really got to make sure that you're keeping up your army's strength so that you can defend Helm's Deep.
Just trying to keep the elites alive, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm not sure what is to be gained by staying here if you're Saved by Him. Oh, Saved by Him does not want to keep the elites alive, apparently. Interesting.
Might have to fight again in Ford's Bison, I suppose.
Well, that's true, but the stronghold is where you're going to have your big battle, right?
Well, the big question is, what does Shadow need to do, right? So they have the mouth. Um, they might be given a ring because in order for free people to move, they need to give a ring. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the mouth attacks. Um, so 1 to take out Woodland Realm. They definitely could march to Erebor if Woodland Realm goes well enough.
Right.
Could they
And
march down to like from Lorien to Helm's Deep? That's an interesting question.
yeah, I mean, well, really what we're asking, the answer to that is obviously yes. But what we're really asking is can they do that and win, right? Um I also don't know if you want to step off of Gandalf right now because if Wei goes and takes Moria in response and then you don't manage to get to 10, you're in trouble. Now, Saved by him, as always, being very respectful of this play, making sure that he treats it like the threat that it is, and shores up his defenses and all that. But unlike earlier in the game, he is now facing some time pressure because if he just kind of like stalls this out, the Fellowship will creep up that mountain. Um, I think Wei is likely to only get one movement in this turn. What do you think?
If Wei retakes Helm's Deep, they need to spend all four of their attacks doing so. They've already spent one, which means they need to spend a ring to move it all.
Yeah.
I think that's probably worth doing for Wei, but it is pretty slow.
So Saved by Him simply has moved Nazgul around, redistributed. Um, what's interesting to me a little bit is that he took three of them from Woodland Realm, which is where all the spicy victory point action is happening, and brought those down. But the ones in Minas Tirith have not moved. And I don't understand why that would be. You've got a Nazgul in Minas Tirith. Why is it important that that Nazgul stays there?
They might want to avoid a recapture of Minas Tirith. They might also be thinking about um, the cities and making sure that they can take, because they need to take Woodland Realm and they need to take a city and they need to hold Helm's Deep, right?
Right.
Or alternatively, they need to take Erebor. So they need to take a city somewhere, and maybe that's Pelargir or maybe that's Edoras. So I could see the Nazgul in Minas Tirith being useful for that. There may also be some secret third purpose that I cannot divine.
I think the line that makes the most sense to me is the need to protect Minas Tirith from being retaken because I actually think that there's a world where that could happen if you're not careful.
Yeah, there is because it's a big army, just no leadership, and they could just move their leadership. Um, some people are pointing out like free people military stuff. I don't see it because if free people don't take Helm's Deep, I think they just lose the game. So they need to spend all of their attacks doing that.
Man, you remember like 15 minutes ago when we thought this game was over?
That Adderus combat, I don't even know what to say about it. I'm still, and I'm honestly gutted for Saved by Him if he loses because of that, because
It,
it was very well put. But I mean, sometimes
listen,
things like that happen.
I think so. Like you say, sometimes things like that happen. I think you appreciate them when they do. Like, what can you do but like smile at it? Even if it happens to you.
Yeah, what can you do? And you know what? The Witch King is
Yeah.
angry and just murdering Woodland Realm.
Yeah, we're fighting Woodland Realm right
So
now.
furious.
Woodland Realm is getting absolutely smashed. So that's bad news for the free people. It's great news for Shadow. Press no card. As free, you're really hoping for no sixes here. Oh, of good sportsmanship way is pointing out that Saved by Him took a casualty and maybe didn't have to.
But they're on.
Oh, he didn't have any regulars to downgrade with. Well, he did that by choice.
Yeah, and when you don't have any regulars left to downgrade, you just have to kill a whole elite. That's them's the breaks.
But he can do it to a Southron unit, and I imagine
Oh, good.
Wei is
Good.
gonna let him. Again, everyone is being great sports to one another. Okay. All right. So here come the rolls. Savedbyhim does get one shot, but it's not enough to finish it. Nothing back. The elves are really not putting up much of a fight, but they are bleeding elites, which is important. It can matter. In
It
fact,
might matter for that thing you brought up about Erebor.
it can especially matter, yeah, because even if let's say the Woodland Realm falls, Aragorn might not have to
50.
retake Helm's Deep. All he has to do is reinforce Edoras. That's much easier to do.
That's a good point. Although Pelargir is at risk and possibly Shire.
But Pelargir is
Now Pippin
also
can go
pretty
back.
built up.
That's true. They don't have a lot of leadership. That's my only concern.
Yeah. Really a shame that Woodland Realm got basically no hits in that fight. That hurts. It's not what you want to see as free people.
I don't think he got any actually.
Yeah, I don't think you got any. Way is passing here, which is bold. It lets Savedbyhim do something with that Fords of Army or Fords of Eisen army if he wants to. And as Savedbyhim, you're sitting on 4 attacks. 5 if Free People gives you a ring. Plenty to do some damage, that is for sure.
I do think if Aragorn goes for reinforcing Edoras, I think it's definitely possible for Shadow to take Pelargir here. Just with the number of attacks and reinforcements they can bring.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. I just think that it is not it's not a guaranteed win. It's a lot of units there. It's got that city fortification bonus. There's a shield wall in hand. There's a lot there that could swing it. We still have not seen Corsairs of Umbar, which is kind of crazy.
It is. It's very fortunate for Way that they have Imrahil. That would help a lot in the case of
Yeah.
Corsairs.
Fun fact about Warriors of Middle Earth. It fixes Corsairs. Mostly
Well,
by
there you go.
removing the card from the deck, but still.
I mean, that's it. That's a fix I'd consider for base.
That card gets a lot of shade because it's bad. It shouldn't be in the game.
I think it has some good aspects, I guess.
Yeah, if you're Shadow and you draw it, sure, it's got great
Yeah, then I love it.
aspects. I think that if you are going to put a card in the deck with the text "Shadow gets 2 victory points," you should have the courage to just write that on the card.
Yeah. I've said before, I wish it went Lamadin, Pelargir, or Osgiliath, and those are the three options. I
Yeah,
think that would
that's
be a much
that's
better card.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all, actually.
I know. Wome kind of does that.
It kind of does, but in a cooler way because you get to play with little boat minis. So you get to pretend you're a little captain, push stuff around on the board with a little stick.
And Bob, we do not know what cards Shadow has, so they could have Corsairs, they could have Threats and Promises.
I don't think they can have threats and promises because that has been played because we talked about it. No, it was Stormcrow that got played. We said that we don't like threats and promises. The card that we do like is the Last Battle, which is obviously the best card. Okay. Sometimes you think for a really long time, and what you do is you put a elite in Umbar, and then Wei has passed very quickly after that.
I suppose they're waiting. They want to know, I guess, if they need to go for Edoras or Helm's Deep.
Yeah. We have a suggestion from chat that a way to fix Corsairs would be to allow it to move to any coastal region not containing a Free People's settlement. So I guess that fix is to make it better. I don't know. I don't know if I like that one. I don't think the card needs a
I
buff.
I have that issues with that fix just because it doesn't really prevent the 2 free points thing. It just means it takes one extra action because on-floss is right there.
I mean, it also makes it so that you can get your 2 free points like from anywhere you want. Greyhaven's, Helm's Deep. Uh,
Yeah, Wraith IR.
yeah,
And the reason I proposed the Lambadon thing is because then at least you have to muster down Condor, um, before you attack Delamroth.
okay. Savedbyhim. Uh, we are merging up in Osgiliath. So I think maybe uh Polar Gear is the play.
It could swing
Which
back to Edoras pretty easily. Keep in mind.
true. You're right, it's a fork. They can go either way. Either way, it really puts pressure on Aragorn to maybe have to take Helm's Deep.
Which is, of course, what Shadow wants. If Aragorn has to take Helm's Deep, then they have to spend a ring to even move at all, and it's not guaranteed they will dunk next turn.
Very much so. Though not unlikely either.
It feels like it gets more likely as we go along. Oh, okay, so by doing this, I feel like Free People is kind of giving up on moving, so they're going to take a Corruption if they have to retake Helm's Deep.
I wonder if Wei sees the Edoras play. It feels silly to say, but I don't know. He's saying bring it. I think there's some danger here. I guess he knows there's time to bring Aragorn around if he needs to.
There is still time. By using that muster, he can't do the things with Aragorn and move and ring move, but he can at least prevent the game from being lost.
Mm-hmm. Coming up on very soon, 3.5 hours of gameplay
This is a marathon.
for sure. We'll ask them if they want to play game two right after this. I'm sure they'll be excited.
Oh, I bet.
Okay. So we're man, we're moving Nazgul again.
I think they can no longer go for Edoras now.
Yeah. I wonder, I would love to know if either of them thought about it.
There
You
may
know?
be also be a reason they chose not to do it.
Right. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like I wonder if they thought about it and then decided not to for some reason. Um because of that, and all you have to do is defend Edoras, doesn't this actually open up a window for free people to move now? Because there's nothing else you really need to do with those dice, unless you're gonna take Helm's Deep, but maybe you just decide that Pelargir is going to hold. You can even move Gimli in there, potentially. Hmm.
I don't see a way Pelargir holds. I'm I just feel like without leadership, it's so hard.
Maybe no leadership, but it's got hit points. 12 hit points. 12 to 12. Yeah, you're right. Got a shield wall, but no, I agree with you. Yep, we're going for it.
I think they have to. So Fellowship is now gonna take a corruption by not moving, basically.
That sucks. Well, very civil. Oh, one hit. That is a tall order to retake Helm's Deep.
Now Aragorn is not guaranteed to retake Minas Tirith, but I think it's very likely. Yeah, the last battle did nothing. Rip.
Okay, we've joked about it a lot, but honestly, what a terrible card. It's such a bad event.
It did absolutely nothing except waste of daylight. But I think Aragorn probably will retake Helm's Deep with a mighty attack.
He's got to chew through a bunch of fellas. I I don't know. Mighty attack is one free hit. You need a lot more than that.
You need five.
Yes, that's a lot of sixes to roll. Oof, oof, oof. Well, Pelargir actually might.
Yes. Thank you, Bob. It was worse playing the last battle than not playing it at all and just throwing it away because it let Shadow allocate one less eye.
Pelargir just whomped in the first round of that combat. Four hits against Savedbyhim's two.
Yeah, Pelargir can fight. Look at that.
There's still a shield wall in the tank too, so you got another round that's gonna hopefully go pretty good for you. Note that Saved by Him is also cycling character cards, which is interesting. Um,
I think it was a slight mistake on Shadow's part to attack now because this gives free people information about whether Pelargir will hold or not.
True, but it also removes. Well, no, yeah, I actually just agree with you. Okay, Cruel's Death. That has the potential to be pretty damaging. Yeah, okay. Four hits, just one back.
That's where the leadership difference comes in.
For sure. Now, we didn't play the shield wall a moment ago. I assume that means we're not planning to? Is that probably right? No more cards from Shadow. Now the shield wall comes out. Meant to play it last round. That's tough. And another three hits. Oh gosh. But oh my gosh, but four back. These are some of the craziest combats I've ever seen.
Wages took 4 when he should have only taken 3 due to shield wall.
Well, we gotta tell him. Okay, it got caught. So it's 3-3 now, yeah? No card, no card, I assume. I don't think Free People has any more playable cards here.
He does reach the Witch King, but
One hit
this allows him to attack
versus
from West Rondor as well.
one hit versus two hits.
Here's something crazy. I think Savedbyhim, it might be right to risk the Witch King here.
Are you serious?
I don't know. Maybe not,
I
because
I
they can just
don't
take home anyway.
I
But
don't
getting one
think
more hit makes the West Rondor attack much more likely.
it cannot be a reasonable idea to throw away the rest of your minions on this fight. Like,
No,
just
you got the
stop.
mount there too. Probably
Yeah.
not. I mean, and free people can restock. They can
Yeah.
remuster.
If known I would roll this many sixes, I would have done
It's
military
pretty
victory.
close though. It's pretty close to true. It's just a little off. Now, if Shadow might have Corsairs.
Yeah, they
Maybe
might.
that's the plan. Come in that way.
I guess if you don't press this down, you really do run a serious risk of. Well, uh, well, well, um, I don't know. If you don't press this down, you can't win anymore this turn, I don't think. Right? You could throw one more attack at it from West Herondor, but that's roughly all you can do, and it's not likely to be very effective. So if you don't do that, it's okay. Yeah, Saved by Him
He's
agrees with
pressing.
you. He's
Really,
pressing.
I think it especially makes sense if you have Corsairs of Mumbar.
No hits. No hits. Oh my gosh, I'm biting my fingernails. There's the hit, one hit,
There you go.
no
That's a hit.
hits.
That
It's
makes a
one
big
and one.
difference.
It's one and one.
Witch King might clutch this out.
You might. You're right. Oh gosh. No hits.
Oh my
No
god.
hits.
No hits to no hits. The Witch
ah,
Cage is saying again.
there it is. There it. Oh
Oh,
wow.
mutual wipe.
But it's way better for Shadow because um now Shadow can just walk right in and well, actually, Free can muster.
Three people can muster, but they probably shouldn't because one regular isn't going to hold.
Do they not have any elites left?
I don't think so. And because of Corsairs especially, there's a huge risk. So I think Free People has to attack Helm's Deep. So I think both sides are losing something
I
because
I think the Helm's Deep
Shadow
fight
wants to do it.
is so unlikely to succeed. I think an elite in Pelargir is much more likely to hold than a victory in Helm's Deep. But if he doesn't have any elites, then he doesn't have any elites.
I don't remember if he has any elites. I thought he was out of elites. If he has an elite, I mean, you have to assume in Pelargir you're going to hold against a 1-2-1, a 1-2-0, because Shadow can Corsairs.
Uh, a 1-2-0. Oh yes, right. Yeah, I think he's in trouble. He kind of does have to do the Helm's Deep thing, doesn't he?
And I think if he's out of elites, I think the right call is to attack Helm's Deep. Because I don't think the attack in Helm's Deep is as crazy as you say. I mean, if Shadow has a Dread and Despair, that really hurts it. But otherwise, I mean, oh, interesting.
Um, huh.
This I like.
Wow.
So now they're gonna fight three regulars with two regulars and Gimli. And they have a mighty attack.
Shadow goes up to 10 points. Did not play Corsairs. Of course,
Because they force Shadow to reinforce Dale, and because they do that, Shadow has to move in with just three regulars, and now they have a shot at taking out Plargear.
they've got a shot.
What a great play by Way.
Yeah,
What a
that's very
really
smart.
smart way to like get themselves out of a sticky situation.
Have we seen both swarms of bats at this point?
Have we seen what?
Both of the swarms of bats. We've seen one swarm of bats for sure. Have we seen two?
I'm not sure if we've seen two. That
Well,
could matter a lot
it
depending
could
on
matter
when
a
they happen.
lot. Yeah. Oh, we have seen them. Shadows moving got played. Okay.
Its power does this.
Ooh, that does. Boy, oh boy, that's very nice.
No Nazgul though, so can't be played.
Wow. I actually don't know if I knew that precondition. Makes sense. These two
Oh,
are
that would have been
throwing
great if they had a Nazgul there.
throwing everything they have at each other. Oh, that is rough.
Very close.
All comes down to this. This is potentially the last round of combat of the game. Press no card. It's just down to dice. If Shadow doesn't get a hit, oh my.
Oh my god, the game
The game
continues.
continues. Are you kidding?
Now, Gone, Free People is still in a world of hurt, but
I again, I think we'd be yelling if it weren't the middle of the night. It is now 1 a.m. We are trapped here, and I'm loving every second of it. Um, so Shadow back down to 9. Shadow on 7 dice, having lost every single one of their
seven
minions,
dice. And, you know, this
and
has
a
just been crazy.
reinforcement to Umbar, either because you have Corsairs in your hand or because you know it's coming.
They must not have Corsairs. I refuse to believe they wouldn't have played a Deadly Strife in one of those pivotal combats.
I think you're probably right, but even if they don't have it, it's a 1 in 7 chance they're about to draw it. I think Wei is right. We do have this achievement system in the Discord community, and I believe he does get an achievement for killing all the minions.
Congratulations, Way. Very nicely done.
If only we had a little Steam pop up in the corner.
I hope they remember that Free People has to take a corruption.
They
Yeah,
just
okay.
did, yeah. Look at those dice. 6 free people dice to 7 shadow dice.
Life with Dome says again in the chat,
Yeah.
which is what the Witch King kept saying as he threw
I
himself into the fray.
I think maybe that's the title of the video when this goes up on YouTube.
Again. Yeah.
Again.
Well, Free People could maybe dunk. Um, this is defending here is so impossible as Free People.
Um, technically correct, but then again, with this many musters, can you
How many
start?
Gondorians are left? That's really the question.
Yeah, I wish we could see the size of the Gondorian force pool. It feels for like the third turn in a row now. It feels as though Shadow is heavily favored, and Free People has to imagine a way to win this game. Yeah, Wei is discussing the very real possibility of, well, maybe I should just try for the mountain, because everything else is so unlikely.
Yeah. There's they could go for Helm's Deep, but if Shadow has Corsairs and Shadow has a chance to draw it, I don't know.
The odds of having Corsairs right now is so high. It's 75% at this point, right? Um, and if they don't have it, it's another like
I don't know.
one in
I just
six
feel
chance to
like
draw it.
if Shadow had a Deadly Strife last round, I think they had to play it. I think they had to play it in that final Pelargir fight. They're
Yeah.
mustering.
One Gondor regular, one Rohan regular, is it? Okay. Okay. Ugh. Yeah, the way we're mustering up in Umbar here, um, frankly, even if they don't have Corsairs, they don't need it. They walk over there and take Pelargir, right?
Yeah, well, and that's where Helm's Deep becomes important. So I think Free People needs to hold Dol Amroth and retake Helm's Deep, I guess, and then try and move once.
And you believe that that army of Rohirrim can crack Helm's Deep in a single die.
Um, so Army move Edoras and Fords of Isen to Westamnet,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and then move Westamnet to Helm's Deep, and then attack Helm's Deep. And it's something like a 6-3 or so,
Yeah.
a 5-3. That'll take Helm's Deep, I'm pretty sure.
And you have to roll natural sixes. You have no cards you can play. I don't know.
You have 3 elites, so you have 40 dice to do so.
Well, if they get no hits back, yeah. Well, we may find out. I think we're gonna see it. So that's exciting.
I think it is strongly favored to take Helm's Deep.
So then, okay. So let's say Wei pulls it off. We do take Helm's Deep. Hooray! Now, the Saved by Him response. Let's say Saved by Him has Corsairs. Even if he didn't have it last round, like you say, he would have played the Deadly Strife. He could have drawn it. Um, can he get both DA and Polar Gear? I think the answer to that is maybe.
I think yes, if he has Corsairs. But the question
Yeah.
is, does he have it?
Was mustering a lot in Umbar for someone who doesn't have it.
Shadow has 3 leadership on the board. They're all in Helm's Deep.
Yeah. So, okay, field battle. That's yeah, I guess that makes sense. Seems like it's ever so slightly risky.
Grand Despair maybe might come out.
Yeah, that would be a great call if you had it. Advantageous position is getting played. That's helpful. Okay.
Oh, this is a fun
Yeah,
gambit.
great card play all around. So this could on a happy day kill a companion.
Oh my God, 5 hits from free people.
Well, saved by him. Come on, man. Ugh. And
Oh, they
two
kill Boromir.
back. They kill Boromir. What
I
epic
think free people will
battles.
take that trade.
What epic battles. Boromir dies in Helm's Deep in Rohan after capturing Orth. This is a War of the Ring. My God.
Again, I Saved by Him has played this really well, and I really
Uh-huh.
feel for them.
Everyone is playing their heart out tonight. It's crazy. So now, I think now I see it for sure. Of course, he can take Helm's Deep. I'm on board.
A very nice
Uh,
card will help a lot.
wow. Okay, that's quite the play, isn't it?
So now they still need 5 6s.
Yeah, that's rough. Do you counter Black Breath Gambit? Do you play the Fateful Strike? Try to kill some Nazgul, take off some leadership? I
You
mean,
could. I don't. I don't think
feels
it actually
dumb.
makes any material difference to the Siege of Helm's Deep.
Yeah, very much agreed.
Praxis, don't
Okay.
curse us with that. You just said that we're gonna have 45 more minutes.
So, no Corsairs, it would seem. Still.
That's pretty huge for free. And it's going to come
Well,
down to Helm's Deep. And despite, I
yeah.
mean, Way is saying they feel like they're not favored, but they just need to win Helm's Deep. If they win Helm's Deep, I think they are very highly favored to win the game because it becomes really difficult for Shadow to take all 4 cities.
I don't think Daring Defiance is really what you want there, unfortunately.
No, I guess they were drawing for like Mighty Attack or an Ent. Um,
Yeah.
I I wonder if you would just save that Palantir to ring move.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Delete from Saved by Him.
Oh, they just kill the character die. Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, you don't want three people to know whether or not. Well, I mean, they already know. I don't know.
And
Okay.
Free has no dice, and Shadow has a Dread and Despair. So this was really
Yeah.
well played by Shadow, killing a companion, refilling the stronghold, and then playing Dread and Despair.
Yeah.
And the
Oh.
luck turns back.
Oh, 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 oh no.
Way's joking about it.
Yeah, he's got to kind of be coming to terms with the loss. That's rough to see. I think it is
And
a
now we're
guaranteed loss
pressing
at this point,
with
isn't it?
five sixes.
Oh, n yeah, never mind. Yeah, he gets five dice, so he has to roll five sixes. Yep.
What a wild end game.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know yet that he doesn't roll five sixes, so doesn't even get the chance.
Yep, Words of Power stops it completely. What I really want to highlight how great that card play was
Mm-hmm.
to save all these important Nazgul cards for the most important pivotal moment of the game. Like Words of Power, Dread and Despair, Black Breath, all mattering in the end here.
Yeah, it is. This has been an incredible game from both players. Just incredible. They both worked really, really hard to get this.
And there's no way Polar Gear is holding, but we'll
No,
we'll
no.
see this one.
Yeah. But we might as well play it out, right?
The companions have fought. It was a crazy game, and now it looks like Shadow's gonna close. Yep, there it is. There's the six, and that's the end of the game.
That's GG. Well done to both players. Saved by him, congratulations. Way, frankly, despite the loss, congratulations. What a crazy game. Oh,
Congrats to both players. That was very very fun to watch. It's gotten a little late. It's almost like this game dragged on for a bit.
I have to work tomorrow. Oh,
Oh, me too. It's gonna be fun.
all right. Oh, they're drawing to see if they would have hit an eye. It looks like yes. So that's nice. Uh, all right. This will go up on YouTube. I'm sure the replay will be posted on our community website. Thank you everyone for tuning in and watching this nuts game. It was awesome. Biz, thank you for hanging out and commenting it with me. I'm really glad I had
Yeah, it was
someone
a
to
blast.
talk to.
Yeah, it was a great time and a great game. Congrats to both players.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody. See you later.